Hello, how's it going, everybody? Brit and Jake are back here again, doing our third part of our Thorathon. We're going to be talking about all the Thor movies until Love and Thunder, which should be coming out next week? 2 weeks? Somewhere in there.
Couple of weeks, I think.
Couple weeks? What do you think, Jacob?
2 weeks.
Alright, 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks is appropriate. We're going to be talking about the best Thor movie. I'm not sorry for saying that. Thor Ragnarok. I am Britton.
And I am Jacob.
And we also have another. We also are joined by Thor superfan, friend of the show, all around honorary Viking, Taheg Gloder. How you doing?
Oh, I've been called many things in my life, but honorary Viking is definitely one of the better ones.
Fair enough.
Very glad I'm stealing that. Like a Viking would.
So yes, we're gonna be talking about Thor Ragnarok today, which I do think is the best Thor movie so far. Does it have problems?
So far, yeah.
Does it have its problems? Yes, it does, but it's way better than the first two we've talked about. That's for certain.
Yeah. I mean, like, I have issues with this film. There are definitely things I would change if I was given leave to. But far less the things I would change about the previous two movies. So while I maintain that neither of the first two are bad films, this is the first, like, genuinely, no caveats, good Thor movie.
Oh yes, I haven't read as many of the Thor comics, but what I have read, they usually are very colorful, very filled with personality, and this movie is probably the closest that captures that spirit.
They're not usually quite this goofy, but yeah, they definitely nailed the aesthetic. The whole thing just screams like early Jack Kirby kind of Eternals celestial art. It's very, very cool, especially the Sakaar sets and the Grandmaster stuff was all straight out of Kirby.
We also get I haven't read the Walt Simonson stuff, but I do know there are aspects of Walt Simonson's run in this movie, such as Scourge, and I think it's one of the better parts of this movie. And there's also a part earlier in the movie, but yeah, Jacob, we don't want to leave you out. What do you think of Thor Ragnarok?
Oh yeah.
You're the co-host of the show. Come on now. I don't want to leave you out.
That was Brit and Taika's in movies. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok, I agree with Brit. Easily the best Thor movie. You could suck at Carlton, but anyway. Seriously, your opinion's wrong in that movie. But Thor Ragnarok was the breath of fresh air that the Thor series needed. Took Thor into the direction that they needed to take him in. And overall, it's just a very fun movie, fun cosmic adventure movie, full of excitement and full of kinetic energy. Taika Waititi did a fantastic job with this addition to the Marvel Universe that finally provides some character growth for Thor. And for me, it's one of my most rewatchable Marvel films. I do have my issues. I do think there are too many jokes in there where it just kind of felt forced. And that's really my only big issue with the movie. But other than that, it does have its flaws, but I think this is a very fun movie and a very fun addition to the MCU.
I couldn't agree more. You could not have put it more beautifully, my friend. Though, yes, I do agree. Sometimes the humor does undercut some of the more, like, dramatic moments, but this film is just about 95% of the time. Or maybe I'm being too nice, but I'm going to stick with it.
A little, I'd say 85, it's probably...
Okay.
85% there, I reckon.
How about 90? Can we? Is that a good compromise?
Why not? Split the difference.
But yes, this film is just freaking epic and entertaining. I just really enjoy watching it every time. It's always a joy to watch every time I sit back and watch it.
And this is what the Thor series needed. Fun.
Yeah. Like, it's not exactly comic Thor's tone, but it feels like it's the first film where they found a tone they were capable of sustaining for a kind of a Thor character going forward. The first film is all very kind of Shakespearean and lofty. The second film is really grim and gritty. Neither one really works with the character they're trying to put across. This one kind of part superhero, part surfer bro. Like, it's not entirely accurate, but it works for everyone. So, I mean, you can't really argue with that.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a... Oh, shit.
I will say it works for this version of Thor in the MCU. I know there are a lot of people that don't like the new, this new bro Thor, where he's super goofy and all that. For me, I personally like it. I think they need to go for that direction with it.
Hell, I think it was... I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say, I think it was Chris Hemsworth's idea. He was just like, oh man, these last two movies were kind of lame, so let's try and mix things up a little. And then Taika Waititi came in, and this is actually the first Taika Waititi film that I saw, and I really enjoyed it. And then I saw Jojo Rabbit, which I liked even more.
So good. Yeah. You need to see Hunt for the Wilder People.
I know. I think it's on Netflix. I need to see it.
It is.
That one's so good.
It really is. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Taika Waititi is just great. He brings his just kinetic energy. There's just no time to breathe in this movie. Yeah, there are some issues in this movie, but it's just, it is just so fun to watch with very many entertaining characters.
Fingers crossed, it does seem like, for me, my issues with this film were almost entirely the script, which Taika Waititi was not in charge of. If you look at his previous scripts, they're considerably better. If you look at Love and Thunder, that's his script. So hopefully the issues I have with this film will not carry across to the sequel.
Hopefully.
That's the key word in that sentence. Hopefully.
But yeah, I love this film. It's vibrant. It's colorful. It's just it's fun. There's a bunch of kick-ass action, especially towards the end of the movie. But I don't want to.
Oh yes.
I don't want to. Oh God.
Jump the gun.
I don't want to jump the gun just yet. I want to build up to. I want to build up to the battle of Asgard.
Fuck yeah.
But so yeah, this film is just such a tonal shift from the other two Thor movies. It's kind of like his Winter Soldier, except it's more comedic.
Yeah.
Where Thor just gets torn down and just gets shat on the whole movie, but then he comes back a little bit. It's just yeah, fun times.
In court.
In court.
And yes.
Oh yeah, and Korg. But again, I don't want to jump the gun on that yet. We gotta wait for Korg, Jacob.
Yeah, too bad. Sucks for you. Okay. It's fucking Korg. Don't disrespect Korg, Britton.
Okay. But okay, so our blurb thoughts is that we like this movie.
Yes.
Yes, this is a great movie. And once again, Carlton, if you ever watch this, you're fucking wrong.
It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn close.
So I decided as punishment for him calling Love and Thunder a porno title, he's gonna review Captain Marvel with us.
Oh, Jesus, a bit harsh.
But don't worry, I smoothed it over, and he'll get to come with us on the Godfather episode, because I do want to cover the Godfather this year, since it's 50 years old now.
Is it?
Yes.
Jeez, that's a great fucking film.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I will definitely be rewatching them and then watching your thoughts on it.
But yeah, Thor Ragnarok is a really good movie. I remember I saw this with my dad, and I was just smiling most of the time. I was like, yes. This is what I fucking needed. And then there were some people who were complaining. I'm like, it was one of those, I'm just like, you know what? Fuck them. I'm gonna like this movie. I don't have to defend myself. Now, of course, there's some moments in it I don't care for, which we'll get into. But, you know which one I'm talking about. There's one that just particularly bothers me. But,
More than likely the same one that bothers me, but we'll get to that part when we get to that part.
Alright. I hope it's the one I'm thinking of. Or it is... I hope you're thinking of the one I'm thinking of, because there's one part in this movie that just bugs me so badly. In, like, a otherwise really good movie. Anyway. So, yeah, Thor is just... We also get kind of the battle-hardened Thor, as I like to call him. Short hair with the beard, gets his eye taken out. I love that look of Thor, by the way.
I'm a little bit sad that they've kind of moved away from that. He's gone kind of 80s power metal. He's got the sort of the weird, not quite mullet, but dangerously close to it. And he's got a new eye now. It's like, I kind of liked... He was kind of edging towards Jason Aaron era All-Father Thor with his look.
Yeah, I was about to be like, dude, that's... Oh, come on. It was so good.
All he needed was the metal arm.
Yeah, all he needs is the metal arm. Anyways, let's stop pussyfooting around. Let's get into this film.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Alright, so we begin with, as you do. I like at the beginning of this movie, you realize that this is not your typical Thor movie. It starts out with Thor in the shit, man. And Thor has been imprisoned by the fire demon Surtur. He reveals that Thor's father Odin is not on Asgard at the moment. Surtur, played by the great Clancy Brown.
Fucking legend.
He's only in it for 5 minutes, but hey, he really chews up that 5 minutes.
That's fine, because all that means is we get a great 5 minutes with Clancy, and he's then free to come back in a different role, and it won't really matter.
Mm-hmm. Though, one of the things I will compliment many times is Chris Hemswroth has incredible comedic timing in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really, in Ragnarok, he really showcases his comedic side, because he is hilarious in this. As you said, his comedic timing is just on point.
Oh, man. Like, one of my favorite bits of the movie is when I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but when Valkyrie's like, hey, and he just, like, turns around, and he puts, like, the thing over his face. He's barely covering his face, and he's like, it's not me. I don't know why. It's so simple, but it's so funny. But that's later. I love that scene so much. It's so dumb, and you're like, it's so funny, though. Anyway. So Thor is imprisoned, and he's just kind of like... So I bet it's one of those movies where it's kind of like, I bet you're wondering how I got here, or something like that. And I generally don't like those... I generally don't like these types of scenes, but you know what? I can deal with it. I'm like, you know what? After big suck fests that were the first two Thor movies, I can take a little difference of tone.
At least it didn't start with a Lord of the Rings lights opening info dump this time.
Oh, God, thank you. Yes, no, there wasn't any of that in this. Oh, God, I hate that so much. I'm still mad at those movies for doing that.
I know.
The only part I'll say is a little dumb is when he kind of turns around, he's like, oh, wait, hold on, I'm not quite, okay, and he, like, turns back, and he's like, okay.
Yeah, this is a classic example of what I dislike in this film.
Yes.
The first time it happens, it's kind of funny. He just about gets away with it. Okay, you're spinning on a chain. Fine, that would happen. But then they do it again. And there was no need to pull it a second time. It was barely passable as a joke the first time you did it. Don't repeat it. Repeated jokes that soon never work. Ever.
I agree. I mean, the first time it did it, I thought it was really funny, but then it did it again and again, and I was like, okay, this is getting old. That's actually one of my problems with like certain MCU films, particularly with Far From Home. I think Ragnarok does it way better in this than Far From Home personally, but I felt that film had like too many jokes that just felt forced. So, in this opening scene, I agree. First time, that's all you need to do. It doesn't ruin this scene for me. It just it didn't ruin the scene for me. The scene is still awesome, but that little comedic moment, it was like, okay, first time I did it, it was fine. I liked it, but you kept on doing it, and I was like, okay.
So, he kind of gives his evil villain monologue where he explains that he's gonna destroy Asgard, because once he unites his crown with the eternal flame that burns in Odin's vault, he will destroy Asgard in Ragnarok, and Thor kind of does a little thing where he uses his hand to get everything to get his hammer, and then he kind of stalls for a minute. I forget exactly what he says, but they're kind of monologuing for a minute. What do you guys think? I think he goes from 0 to awesome pretty quickly once he gets free of the chains and starts, fighting our boy, Surtur.
Very much so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just from this opening scene, you can definitely tell that it's going to be a completely different movie compared to the other Thor movies. You can tell it's going to be a lot more fun, and I would say lighthearted, but I wouldn't really say that. But somewhere similar to that. You can definitely tell it's going to be a much more fun movie, more uplifting.
I wouldn't say it's an uplifting movie, but yeah.
There are parts where it veers dangerously close to that. I can see what you mean, but I think my favourite part of the opening scene here is very much in the first two films, and even really in the Avengers films, but especially in Dark World, they try to explain away kind of all of Thor's godliness with like weird alien sci-fi tech powers. And this one, you know what? Fuck it, fuck you, fuck realism. Thor is a god because we say he is. Behold his godliness. Like, he just unleashes and absolutely obliterates a whole army. Like, no part of that opening scene was restrained or measured. It was just Thor absolutely cutting loose, fighting a freaking fire giant.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
running
awesome.
away from a dragon. Like, it was just completely, utterly bonkers. They went ham with it. Like, you know what? Sod it. No more restraint. We're not going to try and explain away anything he can do. He can just do it because he's the god of thunder, because he says he can. And that's really what's been missing from, like, both of the first two Thor films, and to a lesser extent, the two Avengers films that he'd been in prior to this. It's like, they let him finally be the god of thunder for the first time. And that first fight scene where he's just mowing down Surtur's minions is so badass. Like, he shows more kind of power and technique in that 2-minute fight scene than he literally has at any point in the MCU before this.
Oh yeah, I have to say the action in this is just... Anyways, what were you saying, Jacob? I heard you were saying something.
Oh yeah. First off, not forgiving you guys for making fun of me that one time where I said uplifting. Trying to find another word, okay?
All right. We're sorry. Or I am anyway. I don't know about
No,
time.
I'm kidding. But yeah, this opening scene is fucking awesome. Man, you guys brought me down. Anyway.
Sorry,
yeah,
I agree. It's an awesome scene, though.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, this opening scene is fucking awesome, and I agree, Ty. He's finally the god of thunder, because we didn't get that in the first two Thor movies, but in this one, he finally did. It immediately gets you into the action. The action is fucking awesome, and there's creativity on the way Thor uses his Mjolnir. Creative.
I know. Finally, it took 3 movies to do it, but finally he's using that hammer to good effect. He's not just like flying around, or it's like flying around and then he'll like go some other universe and it just goes pew. It's not Goku. But I digress. Exactly. He's like throwing the damn thing around, and the CG actually looks good. So, what is this? Competent CGI in a Thor movie? Nice.
There's still a few janky scenes, so it's not all the way there, but it's a massive improvement.
But yes, I actually forgot how Thor knew that Loki was Odin, but I forgot it was Surtur who mentioned that Odin isn't on Asgard. So yeah. Also, just it's freaking awesome, man. I think that's the biggest strength of this movie. It just embraces the just awesome.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, then you have the Led Zeppelin song in the background.
Oh my god, yes.
Yes.
Oh.
What a fucking tune.
They used it in the trailer. I'm like, oh, they're not gonna use it in the movie, and they did. And I was like, oh yes.
That always happens. Because that always happens in movies. They'll play a certain song, and it gets you excited for a movie, and they never use it for the movie. But in this movie, they did.
I'm just wondering if we're going to see Sweet Child of Mine during an important scene in Love and Thunder.
I bet it's gonna be during like the epic battle with Gore. It's just gonna start playing, and Thor's gonna be all like, "Yeah!" and just starts like swinging a Stormbringer around. Anyway, I'm probably pissing off Taheg right now, so we'll get off the subject. So he ends up fighting Surtur, and it's freaking awesome, and he ends up taking the crown, and he thinks he's prevented Ragnarok. So then we get to one of my favorite scenes in this movie, which is the theater scene, aka when Thor exposes Loki for the umpteenth time. And it's actually, oh, what is it? Oh, it's charming? Oh, it's got personality? Oh, it's funny? Oh, wow. I'm shocked, guys.
I will say, that scene alone made me like that scene in Dark World much more.
When I saw that scene, I'm like, I'm sold. 4 out of 5 stars, baby. This is great.
That one scene.
I love it. It's just, I love it. He just walks in. There's a big statue of Loki, and it's fucking hilarious. And it's basically if Loki isn't being complacent in this scene, if it wasn't obvious enough that Loki is posing as Odin, they make it very obvious in this scene, and it is hilarious. I also love Anthony Hopkins in this scene, because he has good comedic chops as well.
Yeah.
He's just snacking on those grapes. He sees Thor, and he's like, oh shit. Yeah, and I bet Thor suspected it was Loki. He's like, God, Father seems goofier than... he seems lazier than usual.
It's not quite on his usual all-father level, yeah. But it's kind of laying the groundwork for things to go down later on. Like, he's been fooled by Loki so many times now. He's just kind of developed the ability to just see through all his bullshit. He's like, all right, looking around, he's sitting there watching a play about himself eating grapes being fed by 2 rather attractive Asgardian maidens. That's clear. That's obviously fucking Loki. Who else would it be? It's not me. It's not Odin.
I love
fucking Balder.
I love Thor is just sick of Loki's bullshit in this movie.
Yeah.
Even he knew, he's like, that's fucking Loki. Not my father wouldn't do some shit like this, so...
But if you thought... Oh, sorry, Jacob.
I'm gonna snap him out of it. It's Loki, people. But go on.
Oh, I was just saying... Oh, you want to know what really sells the scene? The play. Oh my god. Oh, Jacob, do you want to take it from here real quick? I gotta prep myself for this.
Yes, okay. First off, Matt Damon makes a little cameo playing Loki in that theater, which is fucking awesome. And
He does. It's hilarious.
It's so funny. And this theater play, they were playing that scene where Loki dies in the previous one, the Dark World, does it in a more comedic way, and it's fucking awesome. And Matt Damon's Loki is so fucking hilarious. The dialogue they have in there is just on point, where he's like, just build a statue of me, you know, with the helmet with the big bendy horns. and then he dies, and then the music starts playing, and the actor playing Thor just yells in a horrible acting. It just yells like, yeah!
It's so good. Oh man.
And I love Thor's reaction. He's just like, what the fuck is this?
I love it too. He's just like, That is not how it happened, but okay.
Exactly. Too funny.
Matt Damon has
is
become...
Just, so moved by it, but Thor's just like, I don't get this.
And they're doing the violin theme from Thor: The Dark World too. It's the women choir. Oh my god, it's so good. Also, the fake Thor is Chris Hemsworth's brother. I think it's Liam.
Yeah.
Oh god, he's hilarious when he just says nah. It's so. Oh my god, it is so freaking hilarious. And Thor is just like unimpressed. Oh my god. And then like Matt Damon has just become that guy, kind of like Werner Herzog, or oh god, who's another guy who just randomly shows up in cameos and stuff?
Certainly.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys who just randomly shows up in cameos and stuff, like Deadpool 2, or now this movie. He's gonna be in Love and Thunder too. He's just like... I'll give this to Matt Damon. He's a good sport when it comes to comedy, because like he's been made fun of a lot.
Yes, Matt Damon.
If I remember, he said to Trey Parker and Matt Stone for Team America, he's like, hey, if you don't put me in there, I'm gonna be kind of offended. So you know what? I respect Matt Damon. He's a good sport. I love his Loki. He's just so overdramatic. He's like, tell Dad I didn't do it for him. And he just goes, and then Liam does his thing, and Thor is just standing there, like, he's so unimpressed. It's hilarious.
And kind of Anthony Hopkins / Loki is just sitting there like, yes, this is perfect. This is my dream.
Yeah, I love how he's like mouthing along with the words.
Yeah,
too.
It's so hammy.
It's so good. And then he's like, hello. And he's like, hello, father. And he's like, oh, shit. And he puts like, the grapes away.
Like, I know it's you, brother.
I love it. And then it's actually a scene from... he actually replicates a scene, apparently, from the Walt Simonson run, where Thor ends up calling out Loki's bluff. And then, bam! It turns out it's Loki. It goes from, like, broad comedy to pretty intense in, like, a second.
Indeed.
Guess that balance right.
And he's all like, well, father, it'll come to my hand. I wonder what everyone else was thinking during this scene. They're like, oh, Lord. It looks like is Thor about to kill the All-Father?
Thor finally lost it. Too much time on Midgard.
And he's all like, it'll only come through my hands, including you. And he's all like, oh, come on, Thor, don't be like this. And then he turns into Loki, and everyone's just like gasps. As if it weren't obvious already.
You have to wonder, a couple of people there must have been like, fucking called it. I knew it was it.
I bet Sif was in the crowd, and she was like secretly watching it, and she just saw the whole thing going on, and she just like pointed and was like, ha! I called it! And she like runs off to go tell the Warriors 3.
It was Loki!
It was Loki! I called it! You guys owe me money.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
By the way, am I the only one who wants a Disney Plus series with Matt Damon as Loki?
I do now. Well, he has to appear in Loki Season 2 as one of the variants.
Oh my god, that would be great.
Like, there needs to be a kind of a variant world they go to that is just all the people from the play, but that's actually them. Like, Liam Hemsworth is actually Thor. Matt Damon is actually Loki. I'm forgetting his name. Sam Neill is really Odin. Like, that would.
Oh yeah, I forgot Sam Neill's in this. I forgot he was fake Odin.
That would be so good.
Oh Lord. I love how Loki's just so nonchalant. He's like, "Hello, brother." And Thor just I forget exactly what happens the next day. I think right after they go back to Earth and they try to go find Odin.
Yeah.
And again, I gotta give it, Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth have a lot of chemistry together.
Oh god, yeah.
Hell yeah.
They get along famously. And I love them just being a comedic duo. And he's all like, we also figure out what happened to Jane. It turns out Thor he dumped Jane. Yes.
Oh yeah, totally. He dumped Jane and then he won the fight with Hulk. These are both things that happened.
Mm-hmm. And he like takes some selfies with some fans, and they end up finding a just torn down building where Loki apparently put Odin, and Thor's like, what the hell? And he's all like, I put him here, I promise. And he's like, well, could he be? And he's like, I don't know. So then they get help from the boy, Dr. Stephen Strange.
Yeah. Butternut crinkle chips.
Played by Benedict Cumberbatch once more. And he actually does a pretty cool flex. He gives Thor a refilling beer mug.
Hell yeah. I could absolutely make use of that. It's an absolute unit. Must be about 3 or 4 pints at least. It's freaking huge. Downs it in one, and then he just fills it up again.
They're like standing there, and then they get transported to the Sanctum Sanctorum. That's it. And then Loki is just like, he starts acting hostile to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like, oh, don't want that happening, and sends him into a black hole.
Yeah. They're on the street, like, what do we do now? And then he just disappears into the hole, and there's a little card that just has Bleecker, like, 1778 Bleecker Street. It's like, fucking Strange, what are you up to? Just epic trolling by the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, and then he helps Thor. He's like, your father's in Norway. I'm like, that's good. And then he ends up dropping Loki, and he's been like, and then he says the epic line, I've been falling for 30 minutes!
And interestingly, that scene features the second reused joke of the film, but somehow this time it works, because they left more than 30 seconds before reusing the joke. It's a replication of, when he's hanging from the same fucking scene, when Thor's hanging from the chain and he tries to summon Mjolnir, and it's like, oh, sorry, give it a second, and it arrives. Now jump forward to Bleecker Street, and I'm 90% sure this is Thor just fucking with Steven, because Steven's been trolling him the whole way through by like repeatedly moving the sanctum around him, so he's kind of off his balance. And as he's leaving, don't forget your umbrellas. Oh, yeah, sure. And he just holds out his hand to summon it. And you just hear, like, crashing and shattering in the distance as his umbrella, in heavy air quotes, comes flying into his hand. And he's like, oh, sorry, it'll just be a moment. As you hear it destroying all of Steven's shit. It's like, yep, you mess with me, I drag my hammer through your house.
I love how Doctor Strange is just standing there like, oh, God.
It's why I don't invite Asgardians. They drink all my booze, wreck my house, impregnate my dog. What the hell's going on?
Whoa!
Jeez. That took a turn.
Just saying.
So Loki...
Loki has 3 kids. One's a snake, one's a dog, and one's a horse.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Forgot about that. So... They end up locating Odin, and before Loki can attack our friend Doctor Strange, he ends up. Shit. Oh yeah, he goes through a portal.
He's like drags the portal over him, like, nope, fuck it, I'm done with you guys. Get out.
And he like falls on the ground. And he's just like, yeah. And he gets up and he like fits his very spiffy suit, by the way. I think it's the same spiffy suit. I think it's the same spiffy suit from the first one. I guess that's just like his Earth costume.
Yeah, his disguise in heavy air quotes.
I'm surprised no one in New York was like, hey, weren't you that crazy guy who attacked us a few years ago? And then Loki's like, oh no, that's some other guy.
I get that a lot.
They end up finding Odin in Norway, and this is actually a really good scene. And it's a lot better than the one they originally filmed for it, even if the CG looks a little spotty in parts. Have you guys seen the deleted scene where they find Odin? The other Odin finding scene?
I don't think I have.
I have not.
Oh.
That bad.
I'm the odd man out here. No, it's not bad, but it kind of undercuts. I think this scene is better, is what my point is. It's not a bad scene, but it's like, it's very just like, Odin's become a crazed hobo, and I find this scene is a bit more dignified, personally.
Yeah, I don't think I really need to see murder hobo Odin.
Yeah, he's like drunk. Yeah. He has like a patch over his eye and bandages over his eye, and it's, oh god, it's very over the top. But I like this scene a lot more.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but from how you describe it, I'm pretty sure I agree with you.
Ty, you're such a big Thor fan. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. Sorry, Jacob. What were you saying?
Yeah, I think I'll pass on seeing the deleted scene. Your description of it.
I am glad that I'm glad that they didn't go with it, because not that it's bad, but it is very over the top. So, Odin explains. So Odin says, hello, my sons," and he just they kind of have a nice little chat. And it's actually a really beautiful scene. I think it's just a really great scene in this movie.
Gives a chance for them all. They've had a lot of chances so far to flex their comedic muscles. This is a chance for them all to show off their more dramatic side.
Yeah, Thor's just like, "Look, Father, we've come to get you." And he says, he basically explains that he's dying, and, "You know how I keep all those secrets from you?" And they're like, "Yeah. Well, turns out, I might have just not mentioned, you actually have an older sister, and she's in a prison, and when I die, she's gonna come and just wreck everybody. So, just letting you know." And Thor's like, "Well, I'm sure we can handle her." And he just kind of goes, "Well, Loki," he says, is like, "Loki, do you have spells on him?" And Loki's like, "No." I'm like, I didn't do this. And then I love how Odin just says, "That was a good spell, Loki. Your mother would be proud of you." And Loki just gets like a, "Oh." I also love the little scene when he says, "I love you, my sons," and Tom Hiddleston kind of just looks at him.
Yeah, it's a really, really subtle bit of acting there, but it sets the scene up incredibly well.
Indeed.
What do you guys think of this scene? I mean, I've talked enough about it. I'm actually gonna get a drink real quick. You guys can talk about it real quick.
Sweet.
My mouth is dry.
Share your thoughts.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I really liked how they did this scene. I agree. What you said, just the subtle acting really showcased, like, "Oh, I love you too, Father," and just what Owen said alone. It's like, your mother would be very proud of you, and then he fades away, and then Thor is really upset with Loki. He's like, "What did you do?" And then we finally get to see Hela, played by Cate Blanchett,
looking fucking hot as lava. Absolute smoke show.
For real. Absolutely.
At the best of times, Cate Blanchett is hot as fuck, but the whole outfit, the look, superb.
Oh, yes. What are your thoughts on Hela?
As a character, in general, or specifically the version in this movie?
Specifically the version in this movie.
That's one of my main issues with the film. Here's the thing.
Too.
The version of Hela that we get is, pardon the pun, hella cool. The problem is, that's not Hela.
Mm-hmm.
The big problem is, that's basically Gore, who we're getting in the next film. Which is one of the reasons why I'm a little bit worried about what's to come. Because, I mean, her powers in this film seem to be summoning, sort of big, scary-looking swords and minions and sort of weapon powers and
All right.
scary black monsters.
I'm back.
The problem is, that's the All Black. That's Gore's power. I'm not really sure what they're going to give him when they've literally just had a film where Hela, for no reason, has all of his powers and none of her own.
Oh, we're at Hela?
Sorceress that can drain people's life by touching them. Which
So-
was a really cool fight.
So basically, Hela was she's basically given the treatment that Gore is apparently given in Love and Thunder, where like looks cool, but it's not hella. Because I haven't read much of the Thor comics, so I'm looking at this from a different perspective.
I will note, we're at hella already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I also love that violin in the Odin scene. They also use it in Loki. Oh, so good.
They do. It is, yeah.
Taheg, I know you're a violin enthusiast.
I am.
What do you think of that violin?
It's a really, really beautiful piece. Really sets the tone beautifully. And I'd forgotten that when they reuse it in Loki, it's very, very well done. The composer for this film absolutely needs their props because the music just sets off each scene perfectly. Even when they're drastically different sounds, they all just work incredibly well. Well, I will note, as sad and emotional as that scene was, I do think Frigga's funeral in Dark World is better.
Ow. Come on. Alright, you know what,
If it feels too abrupt, then it jumps immediately into like a big, flashy action sequence. I feel like Frigga's funeral in Dark World, they allowed you to kind of rest in it for a moment, which this one didn't.
Fine.
Because the pace on this film is much more, it's like almost violently rapid, which is intentional because they had a lot of shit to cover.
Simon, we'll put it in similar tier. Can we compromise there?
But they're both great scenes. If I had to pick, I would say I preferred Frigga's.
And then, as you guys say,
as we mentioned while you were away, I'm just going to restate now. This scene does get one big plus because it features Cate Blanchett looking spectacular.
Oh, I was about to say, Hela shows up, and
yeah, she does.
She looks very nice, and I'm oddly aroused, but that's beside the point. She looks very odd and oddly arousing. Anyway, so she shows up, and I'll admit this is the weakest part of the movie, the villain. She works fine enough, and they try to give her some personality, but like what's her thing? She just wants to take over Asgard, and she's like super mad at Odin because he's a dick. That's it.
Yeah, me and Tyra actually both discussing it while you were away.
Oh, sorry.
One of our issues with the movie as well.
Oh, I would happily agree. I'd say this movie's about like 90% just mwah. You know, I'd say the Grand Master is a way better villain in this movie, but you know, I'm jumping the shark a little bit.
Yeah. It feels a little bit too much like a retread of the first film. Like the first film was Loki being mad and trying to take over because he felt he was owed the throne. And then we're 2 films later, and Hela's mad and attacking everything because she feels like she's owed the throne. It's like, haven't we done this before? Why are we doing it again?
Though, Odin and Loki are like, who the hell is this? And Loki's is... I love how Thor just instantly blames Loki. He's like, Loki, do you know anything about this? He's like, why are you blaming me? I don't know who this is. And he, like, throws the hammer, and she just, like, catches it like a boss, and she just breaks it.
Yeah. Fuck your hammer.
And she's all like, and she does that whole, I think, it's like, there's more things than you think, and then she just breaks it. And, Thor says, impossible, and then she says the whole mustache twirly line, where she's all like, you don't know what's possible. Wink, wink. You're just like, oh. Lord. This would be bad, but I don't know.
They do get a little moustache twirly with her dialogue.
It's...
Yeah, they did.
It's real...
It's not
great. God. They, like, try to give her some personality, like, when she's talking with Scourge about her dad, and she's, like, acting like an angsty teenager, and she, like, pushes down his little thing, the gauntlet. It's like, what was the point of that scene? Anyway. So...
I think that was put in to address, I think in Thor 1, they're going through Odin's treasury when they show the casket, and you see it there. It was originally just put in as like an Easter egg. You see the Infinity Gauntlet on one of the shelves.
Yeah.
So they were addressing that that's not the real Infinity Gauntlet because they were setting up Infinity War, which is literally the next film after this one.
Which is a freaking amazing movie, by the way.
It really is, yeah.
Though, anyway. So, Hela and Thor and Loki fight for a little bit, and they try to use the Bifrost to get out of there, but, Hela, like, intercepts them and pushes Thor out. It's really weird. Anyway, then we get to the scene that really bothers me in this movie, and, okay, so this is it starts out pretty well. We meet Scourge, played by the great and eternally underrated Karl Urban, and it's actually a pretty funny scene, because Scourge is basically that guy who always gets kind of looked over, and he's always, like, trying to be like, yeah, I'm cool, and then everyone's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Behold my stuff. Great line.
Yeah, and then he grabs his 2 M16s right out of the he's right out of the comics, too.
Yeah.
Bald head, buff as all hell, it's basically straight out of the comics, dude.
Yep.
And I think he actually has one of the best parts of the movie, which is his little arc. I think so, anyway.
Yeah, it's strong.
And he's, like, showing it. He's like, I got this from a place called Texas. I forget what he names. I think doesn't he call his guns Tex and Mex or something?
No, it's Des and Troy. Because when you put them together, they destroy.
Oh yes, Des.
What a fucking lie!
It's so good. I love the word.
It's crazy watching that directly after watching The Boys. It's like he really just has one level. It's just everything I see him in now. He's just Billy Butcher. It's too funny.
Even Dredd. Have you seen Dredd?
Oh, I fucking love Dredd. I had to go back and watch Xena to see him as Cupid just to balance it out.
Anyway, so he's like showing off, and like the Warriors 3, I think, are standing there, and they're like, "Look, Scourge, we love you, but come on," or they're like teasing him over something. And here's the part. Then we get to the part that really bothers me in this movie. So, warning signs. You're going to get a mini rant from the Thor movie that I like. It's kind of unavoidable, I guess, in the Thor movies. So, Hela shows up in her dress, and the Warriors 3 are like, who's this? And then she just kills them. But she just throws knives at them. Really?
Yep.
Are you... Why? So, okay. Here's what it says on the Wikipedia page. Okay, here's what it says on the Wikipedia page. I'm gonna... Hold on. Kevin Feige called their appearances noble ends. Really? Are you for real, Kevin Feige? That's a noble end. That is the most disgraceful end I could ever imagine for these kids. Oh my god, I hate this.
I mean, to be fair, don't get me wrong, this scene is shit.
It's stupid. No, don't defend this. This is non-defendable.
Dude, Hogan at least puts up a bit of a fucking fight. The guy with the mace, he at least manages to actually do something. But Volstagg and Fandral just get embarrassed to the point, if I was one of those actors, I wouldn't have even wanted to go to set. But you know what? Save your money. Just fucking CGI me from the past film. I'm not going to set just for that to happen.
I would have pulled a Natalie Portman. I'm like, I am not going to be in this movie unless you give me a good part. Like, exactly. I am offended by this. Because I really like the Warriors 3.
We need to get Iman Vellani to start texting Kevin Feige and calling him out for killing them off the same way she did for killing off Black Bolt.
Oh my god.
She's got some opinions on that.
Oh my god. It is just... Really, Feige. Kevin, I love you. But that is not what you call a... That is not what you call it. That is not a noble end in my mind. That is disrespectful.
Yes.
Kevin Feige. What? Ugh. It's... you can tell I haven't...
Fight me, Feige.
I will. Yeah. Fight me, Feige. You can go suck it.
Sheesh.
I'm mad, man. I'm mad. I'm mad. They totally disrespected the Warriors 3 in that moment. I really like the Warriors 3, man. Yeah.
As do I.
You get a good Disney Plus series, man. Yeah.
Fucking ace, man.
Come on. So
I want to see
lame.
the War Thor, goddammit.
Mark Addy, man. Get him as the War Thor.
Oh, that would be so good.
Oh my god. That just pit. The first part of the scene is great. I love Scourge. I love him trying to impress the chicks with his guns, and they're all like, "Whatever, idiot," and they like walk off.
You're smashing together about 3 scenes there, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Your points basically stand. You're correct about all the scenes. They're occurring at different points throughout this film.
Oh wait, I thought that came right after this scene.
No, the one with Scourge showing off his stuff and trying to chat up the ladies is like literally the first scene. It's where then they get scared off because he opens the Bifrost and Thor comes in with a dragon head and sprays bits of dragon all over the girls, and they're like, "Fuck that," and leave. And then Thor flies off to see Loki, and he kind of runs after.
Oh yes.
And runs after, and then it leads to one of my favourite recurring lines. Doesn't matter what show or movie or fucking book it crops up in, it's always hilarious. After Thor has showed up and exposed Loki for being a liar, Scourge kind of poodles in, like, "Oh, behold, Thor Odin's son," and Loki just turns to him and goes, "You had one job." So, always a hilarious line. Doesn't matter who says it, why they're saying it, it's always funny. You had one job.
Oh, I totally blanked there. It shows you I forgot to rewatch this film before our episode here. Oh god. But that Warriors 3 that really pissed. That's the only thing that kind of pissed me off about this movie. What an utter disgrace to the Warriors 3.
It's a fucking embarrassment. I would be very annoyed. Now you know why fucking Zach Levi was like, "You know what, sod this, I'm going to DC. They'll make me a proper hero."
You know...
And then they made him Shazam, which was terrible. Suck it.
It was a good movie. You know what?
It wasn't. It was fucking terrible.
You know what? We're not arguing about this right now. We're talking about a good movie. But anyways.
Yeah, we are. Exactly.
Talking about a good movie here. I want to
it.
keep the positive vibes going. But, Jacob... What are your thoughts on this utter disgrace?
Honestly,
I'm going to lead the witness there.
You guys took the words right out of my mouth. It's horrible. Abysmal.
I am so mad.
Talk about a fucking disgrace.
I'm going to blame that on the right. I don't know if I can blame that on Taika Waititi or the writers. I have no idea.
100% the writers. Yeah. 1,000%.
Okay, who wrote this movie? Eric Pearson, Craig Kyle, and Christopher L. Yost. You should be ashamed of yourselves for killing off the Warriors 3 in such a disgraceful manner. Ugh, God. So bad.
It's not on.
It's not.
Hashtag justice for the Warriors 3.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's all bitching about Thor getting electrocuted. What about the Warriors 3 just getting killed like it's nothing?
To be fair, Thor getting electrocuted is fucking stupid as well, but we'll get onto that later.
Well, no, I like it because it's a fun joke, right? The God of Thunder gets electrocuted. It's like later how Thor tricks Loki. But again, I'm jumping the gun. I don't want to get to that yet.
Yeah. We'll cover that when it's time.
Hella, and I get this is one of those, it's on TV tropes, it's beating the heavy to make the villain be more frightening. And look, first of all, they did that better in Infinity War, keep in mind. It's just like... I hate this. I hate that scene. Just, I hate him killing the Warriors 3 like that. Then she goes on and wrecks Asgard with, she just randomly resurrects a dead army. And wrecks Ragnarok, and wrecks, Asgard, which is actually pretty fun, even if it is kind of like The Matrix Reloaded. A little bit. Just a little.
Stretching that comparison to breaking point, but I kind of see where you're going with that. It's fair.
There's balloon people. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Balloon people. What?
Anyway.
Yeah, move on.
It's a fun fight scene, but but after the shit taste of the Warriors 3 dying, I'm kind. It kind of took me out of the movie, as you guys could tell.
Yeah.
Is this the scene where she reveals to Scourge all the backstory? Or is that later? I thought that was later.
I think it is, yeah.
Later?
Yeah, she reveals that to him when she asks him to be her executioner, which isn't for a while.
Oh, okay.
I think. Throw me off now.
Nah, yeah, sorry guys. You can tell I didn't rewatch this film. I apologize, guys. Okay, so what happens after the battle? I think this is when Thor crash lands on Sakaar.
Yeah, it's Valkyrie's introduction.
This is where we get to the best parts of this movie, which is the parts on Sakaar. Thor is, or I think so. I don't know what Taheg thinks. Taheg kind of has a.
No, I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the best parts of this movie have to do with do on this planet. He like walks around for a little bit, and I think that's when he meets Valkyrie, also known as Scrapper 142.
Also known as Mrs. Waititi.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apparently, I guess Taika is into polyamory, but that's for another time, guys. All right. You guys are just silent. I'm like, okay, I guess that's the answer to
I didn't
that.
realize I was in the sentence.
I thought you were gonna say something, but that's okay. So.
Yep.
So.
We've already slightly covered it, so we might as well mention it now. Thor turns up, fucks up a bunch of people because he's Thor. She turns up, fucks up the rest, and then puts a little fucking shock watch on him, which disables him, even though he's the god of thunder, which is dumb.
You know, I defend this scene. I think it's just a fun joke, like later on with Loki, but that's beside the point. You know, just fun stuff. Is it kind of dumb? Yes, it is. Does it kind of break the rules a little bit? Probably. Fun scene though.
It is.
Kind of reminds me of
It's a reference. This whole arc is a massive reference to. What's it? The reference. It's literally lifted directly from Planet Hulk by Greg Pak and an artist whose name I've forgotten. Sorry, please don't roast me on Twitter. And the problem is in that they had the obedience discs, which kind of limit everyone's power and keep them sort of under control. The problem in that is that the opponent that Hulk fights there isn't Thor, it's Silver Surfer, who, to be fair, is orders of magnitude more powerful than both of them, but isn't a lightning-based deity, so it's sort of understandable that a sufficiently high charge could overwhelm him. But when you then just transfer that directly to Thor without sort of shifting how it works, it doesn't quite scan for me.
So she ends up so after that whole deal, she ends up selling him as a gladiator to Sakaar's ruler. I think there's also a reference to one of my favorite Thor characters, but I'll get back to that. But we end up meeting the Grandmaster, played by the quirky eccentric himself, Ian Malcolm himself, Jeff Goldblum. I love him in this movie. I don't give a shit what everybody says. I love Jeff Goldblum in this movie. He's a way more entertaining villain than Hela is. I'll put it that way.
Any other villain that Thor has fought, yes.
Absolutely.
Wait, what'd you say?
He's a way more entertaining villain than literally every other villain Thor has fought to this point.
Oh my god, yes. He is
It's amazing.
freaking hilarious in this movie.
Like, he's basically just playing Jeff Goldblum, so it's understandable why some people might be a bit, But, to be fair, the Grandmaster in the comics is fucking mental, too. So it is actually quite appropriate casting. And if anything, they've actually toned down the character compared to how he is. So, I mean, yeah, he's a little larger than life, but it's, if anything, restrained compared to his comic counterpart. So you can't really complain. Or you can, they frequently do, but you fucking shouldn't.
I will.
Jeff Goldblum.
I know. Also, I will say, we also get a little reference. They're really cock-teasing us with it, but we get one of my favorite Thor characters of all time. Get a little reference to Beta Ray Bill. Yes, sir. Ugh.
Hell yeah.
Also, which I have to ask, where the hell is Beta Ray Bill? Come on, guys.
Nice. Apparently, they did want him to be in this, but they thought it was already too overstuffed because Kevin Feige's a big fan and wants to put him in one of the Thor films. So they're just waiting for the right time to drop him.
Oh, so Kevin Feige, you kill off the Warriors 3, but you really want to put in Beta Ray Bill, but you can't? Oh, come on.
Yep.
But we did get Korg out of it, so you know what? Anyway,
We did.
I'm getting ahead of myself. So
You are.
So we get the Beta Ray Bill because they got to tickle the balls a little bit. He's like, oh no, we got to tickle them balls a little bit over Beta Ray Bill.
All four of the faces on this tower are apparently other characters. You've got Hulk, you've got Beta Ray Bill, and then there's Ares and someone else that I'm blanking on. I want to say, like, what's it called, Miracle Man, or whatever it's called, the one that they're trying to get Nathan Fillion to play. Apparently that's the four faces, and they're all the prior
Hyperion?
champion.
Hyperion?
No.
Because aren't him and Thor like best bros in the comics?
Depends on the version. There's been about 5 different versions of Hyperion because he keeps dying and being brought back. But yeah, there is from the freaking amazing Jonathan Hickman Avengers, New Avengers, etc. run that went on for like 5 years or some shit. There's a really great kind of Hyperion Thor sort of bro journey that ended with them both dead because it was Secret War. But yeah, I would absolutely watch a film of that hopefully doesn't end with them dying.
But anyways, so we end up meeting the Grandmaster played by Jeff Goldblum. I love him in this. He gets some of the funniest lines in this movie. And he's just eating it up, man. He's like, oh, look at this. I forget exactly what he says when he evaporates the guy. He's like, oh yes, you will be saved. And he's like, what? And he's like, oh, thank you, from life. And he's like, no, and he evaporates him. Oh, it's so good. I forget exactly what he says though. Do you remember?
You are pardoned from life.
He's like, no, and he like evaporates him. It's so good. And then I love how I love how they get Stan Lee to cut Thor's hair. I think it's Stan Lee.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
that's a great cameo.
He's like, oh, you stay away from my hair. And he's like, ah.
Hold still. My hands aren't as steady as they used to be. So good.
What do you think, Jacob?
Okay, I want to say something. Oh yes, the Grandmaster played by Jeff Goldblum. It's Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum, but it's fucking awesome because it's Jeff Goldblum. He's easily one of my favorite parts of the movie. His comedic timing is also just perfection. I also love the scene where Thor breaks the handcuffs and he's like, "I'm the God of Thunder," and then Jeff Goldblum's response is, in the Grandmaster response, he's like, "Ooh, you got little sparkly fingers, huh?" So good.
Zero fucks given. Such a good scene.
So good.
He keeps referencing them though. It's so funny. I think it's later when he's talking to Loki, and he's like, "Oh, like use his little sparkle fingers," and then later on in the arena, he's like, "Oh, this is our new fighter. You'll see him. He's great. He's got fingers that sparkle, but I won't spoil it for you." Like, oh, he just won't rest with the fucking sparkle fingers. It's so funny.
I think what makes him funny. He would be annoying if none of the other characters didn't find him annoying. That's what makes him funny, I think. That's my opinion. I don't know what Taheg thinks. He sounded like he was disagreeing.
No, I was very much agreeing. He's just such a troll, so kind of it works because you see he's just needling everyone. Everyone's like barely tolerating him because they know that he's one of the most powerful beings in existence. It's just.
I think it's so funny. I think it's funny. There's that big lady. I forget what she's in, but she's in like a lot of Taika Waititi stuff, and she plays one of the guards. She was also in Soul. She played Terry. Which is funny, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're impressive." And then they do this scene, which I bet you 100% was inspired by that weird boat scene in Willy Wonka, but they end up like tripping Thor out, and it's pretty hilarious as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's even the same music playing in the background. It's absolutely a reference, and it's freaky as shit.
Yeah, and Thor's like, ah! They're like, oh, you're done now, and then they put him in. And then they, did we miss anything during our oogling over Jeff Goldblum, the Almighty?
Probably, but if it's that important, we can come back to it later. It's fine.
Oh yeah, I think Loki also shows up. He's like, "Oh hey, I'm here," and he's like, "Of course."
He does.
Again, Thor is just done with Loki's shit. He's just like, "Oh, of course you've weaseled your way in."
Drops the sort of the then massively memed. He's like, "Oh, Thor, Loki, come here." He's like, "Oh, I've never seen this man before in my life. He's my brother, adopted." So good.
References.
How many times have they been like, "Oh, he's my brother. He's adopted."
Yeah, he's like, he killed like 17 people. He's adopted. Which that's from the Avengers. But anyways, so he ends up sending him through, and then then he gets put into the cell, and he's like, he gets put into a cell with just like a circle, and then, oh boy, Jacob, do you want to take it from here?
Oh, yes. I'm so excited for this. We get introduced to, easily, in my opinion, the best character of the entire film, Korg.
Yeah.
By Taika Waititi himself.
Yeah.
He always gives himself the best cameos.
And this is easily one of his best. Korg is the best part of this movie.
Yes, he is.
When I say that, he is. I love Korg in this. You can suck it, Carlton. Korg is perfection in this film. He is so fucking hilarious.
I think what's so funny about him, he's so soft-spoken, and he's like this big rock guy. You think, yes. Oh god. That's what's so funny. You think he's like this, gonna be like this big tough dude, and then he like walks over, he's like, hey, watch where you're going, man. It's so good. And he's all like, I'm kind of what you call a leader down here. My name's Pogue. And he looks down at this little like slug thing, and that's Meek. And he's like, he makes like a little rock paper scissors joke. I forget exactly what he says, but oh my god, it's so funny.
He really is. Yeah.
He's so good. Like literally, almost every line he has is so good.
Yeah, it's funny. He makes the rock paper scissors joke, and then says that he's there because he tried to organise a rebellion but didn't make enough pamphlets.
Yeah, he did.
Proving the rock was beaten by paper.
It's so good. And then he's
so
like,
good.
And then he's all like, except only my mum showed up and my boyfriend I don't like. And it's like, what? It's so good. Oh,
and Thor's not even listening. He's just like, how do I get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, he's like trying to Thor's like in, he's like Indiana Jones mode. Like he's trying to get the hell out of there. And he's all like, oh no, man, it's not like a circle, but it's like a creepy circle. But and he's all like, that doesn't even make any sense. He's like, that's the point, man. The only thing that does make sense is that nothing makes sense. Thor's just like, what? And then he's like, he's like, oh yeah, it's except for the Masters champion. And he's like, I'm gonna beat this champion, and then I'm gonna get out of here. He's like, that's exactly what Doug used to say. And then he goes away and he says, see you later, new Doug.
So good.
Oh man, Ty, what do you think of Korg?
In theory, I love Korg. The problem is, Korg is a symptom of my main problem with this film. If you actually really kind of take a step back and pay attention, 90% of the time, when there's a joke that doesn't need to be there, it's one of Korg's lines.
I kind of just took it as part of Korg's personality. This is kind of what he does. He's that guy who just says, like,
he's
the wrong thing.
He's there to make jokes. But that doesn't mean that he has to make jokes at inappropriate times.
Yeah, it's, yeah, we'll get into some of the more issues, like, at the end of the movie, which I think that's the scene that, Taheg is referring to. But aside from that, like, 90% of, you know, Korg stuff is just, mwah, I love it.
He is very funny.
Oh, God, it's so funny. Like, it's just, like, I think what makes him so entertaining and so fun is that he's just not what you would expect.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd be like the rock monster from the last movie. He'd be like, hey, what's up? And he, like, bullies Thor. No, it's just this, like, guy. No, it's just, like, this chill dude who just...
That's what makes it so funny. Like, as you said, Britton, like, he has this very soft-spoken voice and this easygoing personality, and you would think this rock monster would be very intimidating and be like, I am Korg, and I'm me, and all that. Nope. He's like, hey, Korg, I'm made of rocks. He's my friend Meek.
There's also a little later on scene where, like, Korg thinks there's a ghost, and then he just goes, piss off, ghost! And he, like, kicks the wall. And then Meek just shows up behind him. He's like ready to go, and I love him.
I love Korg.
I love him.
But he's another Planet Hulk alumni, along with Meek. They have very, very different roles in that story, though. They're basically the same character in name only. Well, I mean, he's still a big rock guy.
Yeah, I know Korg is a lot different in the comics, but I just love him in the movie. As is Meek.
Yeah. Meek's kind of a crazy bastard in the comics. He's a little bug guy that turns into a big bug guy and then tries to kill everyone. He does not have scissors for hands.
He doesn't have scissors for hands? That's sad.
He does not.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that a part of the joke?
Yes.
Oh my god. I didn't even get that till now.
Because Korg accidentally kills Meek.
Or he thinks he does.
Beats scissors.
Anyway.
Yep.
Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
That keeps on giving. Yep.
But I love Korg in this movie. He's my favorite character in this movie. He's so fun.
Mine too.
It's just like, yeah, later on he's just like, piss off, ghost, and he like kicks the wall.
So good.
And like Meek is like behind him, and he's just like ready to go. He's ready to scrap, you know. Anyway, so what happens after the scene where he meets Korg and Meek, and that where we go back to Asgard?
Yes, that's when we get the Hela backstory, I think.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. This is a scene I don't know how to feel about it. On the one hand, they're trying to give Hela more personality, but on the other, it just comes off like an angsty teen, like being all like, oh, my dad's a jerk, meh. And then she like pushes over the... I think the funny scene is when she pushes over the Infinity Gauntlet like it's nothing, even though it's like... I know it's a fake, but it's kind of funny, but it's like unintentionally funny, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, guys?
This scene, they're trying to flesh her out, give her kind of a backstory, but it just doesn't really work for me. And also, one of my issues with Hela is that at times she does feel like walking exposition.
Very much.
Those are some great paintings, though, of when it's shown that they were conquering the 9 realms. Like, that's a fucking... Oh, those are some stout paintings.
Fucking awesome.
Aesthetically, the whole thing works very well. But it does just kind of... It feels a lot like a retread of the first film, like I said before. Like, we need a motivation that is more than just, I want to be king, but Dad says I can't. Like, that's not a good plot. I don't really see why they thought they'd go with that again.
I guess with all the stuff they were running with, they kind of just didn't have as much interest in Hela. I don't know. That scene does seem kind of tacked on, though she does ask Scourge to be her executioner, and his heart's not really in it, but he's all like, okay, I guess.
You can tell he's really just kind of like, that's the point where he's starting to realise that he might have joined the wrong side. And so he's just like, okay, I'll stick with you for now, but not gonna lie, the first chance I get to fuck off, I will take it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you kind of feel bad for him. It's like, she, like, tries to, like, he feels acknowledged finally, but then he's all like, I don't know if I really want to do this. I don't like the idea of killing innocent people. With this crazy bitch.
It's a bit kind of... It's a bit... This film almost doesn't need Hela. Like, you've got Surtur, who's a classic villain, incredibly powerful, would have been great. You've got the Grandmaster, who's batshit crazy and a lot of fun. And even then you've got Scourge, who's doing the whole kind of, I'm only doing this because, you know, Asgard has treated me so badly, but my heart's not really in it. It's like, there's so many little bits of arcs that sort of all could have worked if any of them had actually, if you picked one or made 2 of the 4 and worked on them, it would have been a lot better. But somehow they just kind of decided to try and do all of them, and they all just kind of feel a bit half-baked.
A little bit, yeah.
I think that's my big problem with this film, is that it sort of tries to do everything and ends up completely doing nothing.
Do we also see Heimdall again, or is that later?
Yes. No, we see him stealing the Bifrost sword.
Oh, yes.
Technically, we don't see it's him, but I mean, who the fuck else would it be?
Oh, yeah. And she's like, Scourge? Yeah, crap. I love Karl Urban. He's great in this.
Yeah, he is.
He really is.
Let's see. All right, what happens?
I think it's the gladiator match.
Oh yes. Here's another just great. No, here's just another great scene of just another excellent scene of oh boy. So we get to figure out what happens, and we see Thor and Korg prepping for the match, and we get some more Korg goodness. Thor is just talking about his hand. He's talking longingly about Mjolnir, who's been destroyed. And Korg is just like, and Korg just very accurately is like, it seems like you had a very emotional attachment to this hammer. And he's like,
the hammer pulled you off. Oh, great line.
Yeah.
You were the hammer.
He's like, I love how Thor's just like, yeah. Yeah, that's about right. And I love how Thor, here's a little in-joke for What We Do in the Shadows, which I have not seen, but I've heard is hilarious.
It is.
He grabs like a little stick. He grabs like a pitchfork, and he's like, I guess this wouldn't be useful unless you stick 3 vampires and they're standing together. It's so good.
That's a very funny scene.
And then we see Valkyrie, and Thor's just like, oh wow, she's really familiar. And she's like, oh yep, it's a script of 142. He's like, you don't mess with them Asgardians. And he's like, oh, that's where I remember her. And it's revealed that it's actually a Valkyrie. It's like, oh yes.
Yeah. I love that conversation they have together. It's like, Thor's really trying to be kind of like, I'm cool. What's the word? No, it's gone. But the guy, like, it's great. There's a all-female fighting force. I wanted to be a Valkyrie when I was younger. Like, yeah, but I was very sad. Just like, he's trying so hard to be kind of accepting and progressive. And just everything he says digs himself deeper and deeper into a fucking hole, and she's clearly having none of it.
I love Valkyrie doesn't take Thor shit either. She's just kind of like, I'm content to getting wasted and capturing people.
I love how Thor says, like, oh, I have nothing against women. I love women, perhaps a little too much.
Oh man,
keeps digging that hole.
I love Chris.
It's a really funny. I think it was a fan comic, kind of inspired by that scene, where it's Thor and T'Challa talking about how they really wanted to be a Valkyrie and a Dora Milaje when they were younger, and how upset they were when they realised they weren't allowed because they were men. It's very funny.
Yeah, but we end up veering out. It's Valkyrie. Is this where we learn her backstory, or is she just like still at the fuck off level?
A little of both. We see her tattoo and we realise she's a Valkyrie, and then she implies and kind of infers toward their fate and why she's no longer part of it, but we don't actually see the amazing flashback until
Oh
later.
my god! I was about to say, that flashback is so good. Oh. Anyway.
So glad I saw this film in the cinema, just for that scene. Oh my god.
So, oh man, me too. It was so good. I was like, oh my god. This looks way better than the last two all the battles in the previous two Thor movies combined. Oh! Anyway. So, Thor is about to go into a fight, and they like hype up the fight, and oh yeah, Korg is like, oh yeah, I'm one of the guys who hypes up the fight, and they're like doing a little thing, and then Thor gets out there, and it's a whole thing. He gets like a little rusty ass sword and a shield, I think.
He gets his hat, his helmet. The one time in like 3 films he actually wears his fucking helmet.
Oh yeah,
it
finally,
sort of
yeah.
10 seconds.
Yeah, finally, Jesus. Or I mean, by Odin.
Of course.
Odin's sake, son. Oh Lord. Oh yes. So then they're like, oh, we're gonna figure out who the big champion is, and it's the Hulk. And he comes in style. He just bursts out, and he's just roaring. And I love I love Thor's first reaction. He's like, yes!
Apparently, that line was pitched by a Make-A-Wish kid.
Oh, really?
Apparently, the Hulk. I know him. He's a friend from work. That was pitched by a fan, and if so, fucking shout out to you, man, mate. That was brilliant line.
Yeah, that was a good line.
It's not even written by the freaking script writers.
I love how everyone's confused. They're like, wait, what? And I love how Loki is... Good little detail. Loki did not forget the time that that Hulk thrashed him. No, and he's just cowering in the corner.
I've got to get off this planet. So funny.
And he's like, it's a friend from work. And the rest of them are like, what is this crazy man talking about? And so he ends up calling Hulk Banner, which triggers the Hulk, because the Hulk does not like being thought of as Banner, the weakling. So he starts beating the crap out of Thor. And we get yet another just epic fight. Oh my god.
So fucking good, man. They teased this particular... stupidly, they spoiled this whole fight in the fucking trailers, which is why I don't watch trailers. One of the many reasons why I don't watch trailers anymore. But still, going in, I was like, obviously, they're going to fight it's going to go one of two ways. Either it's going to be a draw, or Hulk is just going to wreck him to set up a later fight. I was not expecting one of the best choreographed, like, one-to-one duels in, like, definitely Thor history, but possibly it's quite high up there in just MCU history as a whole. It's such a great fight. And I love how Thor's kind of taking it easy to start. He's like, come on, Banner. Obviously, he's like, the sun's getting low, and he just keeps completely misquoting the whole thing from Age of Ultron, which is fucking hilarious, because, like, he's smart enough to remember there's a phrase, but dumb enough to get it wrong every single fucking time.
It's perfect.
Like, even when he's talking to Banner later on, he keeps saying it. Banner's like, will you stop saying that? That means nothing. Stop it. Classic. Yeah, and then he reaches this point where, like, he just gets knocked into the wall for, like, the 5th time. And he's like, all right, you know what?
It pisses him off, and he gets Super Saiyan.
He finally realized. We have to remember, Thor is right up there with the likes of Flash and Juggernaut in being one of the biggest jobbers in comics. Even when he's fighting someone he probably should be going all out against, he almost never does. Especially if that person happens to be like a human or someone that he doesn't consider to be as strong as an Asgardian. So even though he knows he's fighting the fucking Hulk, who's an absolute beast, he was still holding back. You know what? It's Hulk. He's a mate from work. I can't properly hurt him. And he's at that point. He's like, you know what? Sorry, I need to finish this. And like, he just completely switches. He goes from like sort of living and just absolutely taking him apart. Like, you see just how high Thor's fight IQ actually is. Like dodging moves, like striking the kidneys. So good. Absolute beast of a fight.
What do you think, Jacob?
Hell yeah. This is a well choreographed scene, so fucking exciting. And also, I love how Thor is trying to do what Black Widow did in Age of Ultron, but it doesn't work out. Hulk does the exact same thing that he did to Loki. And I love Loki's response. He's like, yeah, that's how it feels. And he's like, oh, I'm just a fan.
It's like, it's just a fan. I love, oh god, I love how he gives Hulk just that big uppercut.
Oh, so good.
And, like, Grandmaster's like, I don't like this. And he, like, electrocutes Thor again. I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's how it all wraps up. Like, Thor just starts absolutely battering the crap out of Hulk. And then Hulk's like, hey, guess what? I'm the Hulk! So he just gets a bit angrier and gets a bit stronger and starts fighting back. And he has Thor kind of on his back, and he's just repeatedly punching him in the face, like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And Thor's like, hey, guess what? I'm a god. Remembered he actually has powers other than punching people. Kind of, we get to see the sort of a half version of his awakened form that we'll see to great effect
Oh
at
my
the end
god.
of the film. And just like Shoryukens him into the sky with one punch, and the crowd's like, "What the hell just happened?" And
I love how
absolutely thrashing him. It's so good.
I also like how Korg is like, another day, another Doug, and then Thor comes out, just starts walloping the Hulk, because I guess he gets triggered to his Super Saiyan form, and he just starts beating the crap out of Hulk.
Oh, so good.
And then
Grandmaster gets worried that his champion might lose, so he fucking shocks up Thor, like a cheating little bitch that he is.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think, Jacob? Is this one of the best fight scenes? My favorite one is later, but I really like this one as well.
Oh yeah, easily. This is better than all the other battles in the first two Thor movies. Easily. Because I also love how they made Thor, like, Thor is not just like this dumb meathead. Like, he's actually, like, really skillful fighter.
Yeah, it's this kind of the thing. Thor is, I think he gets lowballed a lot in terms of intelligence, but he can also be a bit of an idiot a lot of the time, too. It's shown in this movie. Or I think so, anyway. I think it's a fair way to describe it. I don't know about you guys. I think Thor gets lowballed a lot, but he doesn't really do himself a lot of favors in this movie.
I'd put him in a similar category with characters like Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece, in that he is relatively intelligent. He's just also a massive goof. So it's not that he's dumb, he just can't be asked a lot of the time. Like, he knows that if shit goes down, he can get himself out of it. So he doesn't really try most of the time.
Oh, he doesn't, like, try?
Yeah, and that leads people to believe he's an idiot. But actually, he's really not. He just can't be asked.
I guess that's a good way to describe it.
It's like when he's forced to, like, snap out of it, not be a goofball, and really, like, use his intelligence when he needs to, he does it.
Yeah. I would say Thor doesn't do himself any favors, but yes, I do think he gets lowballed a lot.
Indeed.
Because he does manage to outclass Hulk in a few parts.
Absolutely. I mean, he shows some, like, really skillful kind of takedown techniques and, locks and shit. But
yeah.
Just not enough.
Yeah, it's because Grandmaster's being a bitch.
Yep.
But hey, Thor does manage to get a nicer room out of the whole affair.
True.
Though he has to hang out with naked Hulk, so that's fun.
Yeah.
We get to see some of that giant ass cheek. Ugh.
It's like a fucking watermelon.
Watermelon.
Be careful of the seed.
Oh my god. I also love Hulk and Valkyrie just get on famously. And there's also a little later part where Bruce Banner's like, I think I know you. She's like, yeah, I know. It's...
it
good stuff.
kind of feels like they were trying to sort of maybe force a bit of a love triangle between the three of them there. But it just really doesn't work. Like,
no, I kind of think that works better if they're all mates.
For me, there's no romantic tension there at all between any of them.
I think it's just better that they're a comedic trio. I think it works better that way.
That's why they had to bring Jane back.
Jane?
Yeah, in the next film.
Oh, Jane! I thought you said Chain. My bad. I'm an idiot.
No. Although I'm still hoping they bring in Rod Solomon, because she's way better.
I'm looking forward to Beta Ray Bill. Where's that Kevin Feige? Anyway.
To be fair, though, I was talking purely in the sort of special lady category.
Oh, okay.
Bill is very important to Thor. I don't think he's ever been that important, if you know what I mean. Although, what happens on campaign stays on campaign.
So Thor is, like, hanging out. There's one scene where he throws a ball against a window to try and break out, and it just bounces back, hits him in the head, and he just gets right back up. It's so good.
He does.
He, like, gets right back up.
Heroes do.
Reminds me of the scene from Doctor Strangelove when George C. Scott is just ranting maniacally, and he, like, trips and he just falls and he keeps going. It's like that.
Oh, man.
It's my favorite scene of that whole movie.
Fucking film.
Anyway. Yeah, I love how Thor is trying to, like, placate Hulk's ego. He's all like, oh, man, you're so much better than Banner. He's an idiot. He's all like, no Banner! Or whatever. And then he does the same thing, and that's where we get the meme where he's like, does it?
Easy though.
That's for later.
Yeah.
Thor attempts to get Hulk and Valkyrie to help him save Asgard, but they're both like, don't feel like it.
No, I don't really give a shit. And then he throws the ball and it bounces and knocks him out, but he gets back up, smashes the window and leaves, and then Hulk suddenly develops separation anxiety. Which is a bit weird.
Jumps on after him. And
But then Thor gets back to the Quinjet, and he's trying to access the computer so he can
yeah.
find out. And he's like, audio identification required. And he's like, Thor. Nope, sorry. Thor, son of Asgard. Nope, sorry. Thor, strongest Avenger. Nope, sorry. Point Break. Fucking Tony. I hate that.
Even Tony loves his snarky. Tony loves his snark, you know.
He does.
Also gives pleasant memories back to the Avengers. I love how he's just like Point Break, and it turns on.
And he says, "Damn you, Stark."
Yeah.
Yeah, then Hulk comes up and fucking trashes the place because he's suddenly afraid to be alone.
Yeah. And he like goes to Quinjet and he's like, no, stop. And then he sees Natasha doing her. It's like a recording of Natasha, and you're like, "Aw," even though that was such a weird choice for a romance in Age of Ultron. So yeah, thanks for that, Joss Whedon.
Never really saw if you excuse the pun, what was the end game meant to be there? They were never going to end up together. Why even do that?
Thanks, Joss.
Well, apparently there's like a 3-hour Joss cut of Age of Ultron that makes a lot more sense.
# release the Whedon cut. Is that what's going on here?
I think it's a bit late for that now. But yeah, there was a time and a place for that, and it was before the film was ever released, so we were spared the absolute fucking horror of Age of Ultron. What a pile of shit.
Wasn't that bad. It was just underwhelming.
It was an absolute waste of James Spader.
Okay, yeah, they did waste James Spader. They wasted Ultron in that. I don't want to get into that right now.
Yeah, true.
I don't want to get into that.
I did wrong here.
So,
okay.
okay.
Banner returns and is very sad and confused, which is about standard for Banner these days, really. All he ever is sad and confused and angry. And then, they wander through Sakaar, and it all goes terribly wrong, because of course it does, because that's hilarious.
Yeah, I love how they have like a little festival for Hulk. And there's Bruce Banner. He gets covered in green.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
And then that's when we get the scene where he's all like, "Oh man, you're so much better than Hulk." And then we get the "Well, does it" meme. That's where that comes from.
The circle back to
Go.
All right. The circle back to when Hulk turns back into Banner. Funny joke is where Banner accesses the ship, and he says Banner, and then Pierce says, "Welcome, strongest Avenger," and then Thor's like, "What?"
That's a good one.
That's one of the things I do like, that Banner and Tony are bros.
Yeah, science bros. But I think we've conclusively proved in the prior scene who the strongest Avenger actually is.
We then get the Grandmaster telling Valkyrie, "Hey, our two greatest champions have just made it out and left, so you gotta go catch them." And she's like, "God damn it, okay."
And that's when Loki shows up. And
that's when Loki shows up.
They keep trying to kind of outbid each other on who's going to bring them back. And then that sets up the fucking amazing flashback sequence. So good.
Oh, yeah, then we also get to one of my favorite bits of the movie, just like one of my favorite little jokes. She's like going through the crowd, and she ends up finding Thor, and she's like, hey, I know you. And he puts the thing over his face, and he's all like, no, you don't. It's such like a dumb... He's almost like a kid. It's such a dumb thing, but it's so funny.
I'm in disguise, but I can still see your face. Not if I do this. We can still clearly see it's you. It's just this, like, I hate to make the same reference again, but it's a very kind of Luffy thing to do. Like, just assume that because you've covered, like, a third of your face, suddenly you're fucking invisible. No, mate, it's still quite clearly you. You had the eyes of, like, the entire planet on you not 6 hours ago. I'm pretty sure they're still gonna fucking recognize you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Honestly, Thor is smart, I promise.
It's just such a dumb it's like something a kid would do if he's stealing cookies and he, like, gets caught in the middle of eating it and the mom's like, what are you doing? And he's just, like, eating in the middle. He's like, nothing. It's like that. It's,
exactly, yeah.
God bless this film.
God of Thunder.
Or, Odin bless this film. My bad. Sorry, guys, if you're Norse. Oh, jeez. Okay.
All Father be praised.
All Father be praised, exactly. So... I forget he orders Valkyrie and Loki to find Thor. So she ends up fighting with wait.
Yeah, she fights Loki. It's cool.
Oh, she fights Loki. Yes, I forgot about that. And I think she fights with Thor and them as well. And they're like, "Hey."
Hey. Yeah, that kind of sets up the next bit.
I'm sorry, I blanked.
And he's like, do you want to join the Revengers?
Oh, yeah.
In that hallway. He's like, yeah, we're starting a new team. It's called the Revengers. She's like, the Revengers? Yes, I want revenge. Do you want revenge? And then he turns to Banner, like, do you want some revenge? He's like, I'm undecided. Apparently, that was completely ad-libbed.
Another one of my favorite scenes is when they capture Loki, and it's so good. There's so much greatness in that one scene. Like, Banner throws like a Skittle at him, and he's like, ah. He's like, ah, had to make sure. And then Thor, I love how Thor, I think this was ad-libbed, but Thor just gives this story about Loki was punking on him, and he's like, he knows I love snakes, and he walks over, he's like, yeah, and he stabbed me. It's like... And he looks over at Logan, he's just smiling.
Yeah, but apparently that scene was also ad-libbed, and that little smile is Tom Hiddleston trying as hard as he can not to piss himself and break character.
It's so good.
So the thing, like, when he's talking about being the Revengers, like, the whole thing about being, wanting, like, do you want revenge, that was completely done on the spot. That's why Mark Ruffalo is just like, I'm undecided, because he literally did. There was no line there. He had to just make something up on the spot, and he thought that was the most Banner thing to say.
Oh, jeez!
It's such a perfect line for the character.
It's so good.
But it's on the spot. It's just fantastic. Love that whole sequence. Everything from like Banner to Hulk turning back into Banner until kind of then really is just. Like, it's absolute chaos. But kind of a way that's controlled enough to just make it work brilliantly.
Oh, yeah, we also see Valkyrie's backstory a little earlier, where it turns out she's the only survivor of the Valkyries, and this just freaking epic shot. Oh, my God. Oh, so good.
So good.
So good.
That's so good.
Oh, my God. But back to the captured...
speculated that, when we see the other Valkyrie throw herself in front of Valkyrie and get stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
People have speculated that Valkyrie that we saw get stabbed is Brunhild, the Valkyrie we know from 616.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be quite a nice little touch. We would explain why Ragnarok Valkyrie does not look like a comic book Valkyrie. Because comic book Valkyrie sacrificed herself to save Ragnarok Valkyrie.
Though, so back to the scene where they capture Loki. I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of this movie. I've said this a couple times. Another one of my favorite parts. Just that whole scene. Thor telling the snake story. I don't know why. He sounds like a kid who's so mad that Loki pranked him. He's all like, because Loki knows I love snakes, and he gets up. He's like, yeah, and he stabbed me. And again, Tom Hiddleston just cracks a grin. It's perfect.
The first time I saw this film, I don't know what happened for like the first 5 minutes after that scene, because I was just fucking dying with laughter.
You were in stitches.
So good.
What do you think, Jacob?
Sorry, I got sidetracked. What scene were we on?
We were talking about the scene where Thor forms the Revengers and talks about when Loki punked him that one time with the snakes.
Oh yeah, I love how Thor's like, it's called the Revengers, and he's like, oh, we don't have to have a name. I mean, we can just be a team without a name. Oh, this movie's so funny.
Oh Lord. So they end up like hatching a plan to help Thor, and Loki's just like, I don't want to get left behind. So here's like some keys to one of the Grandmaster's ships. And then we get like a badass scene where Valkyrie just starts wrecking everybody, breaks into the prison, and then she gives Korg a gun, and she's all like, who's Korg? And he's like, who's asking? And she's all like, I mean, I know you're asking, but who's asking? And she's all like, the Lord of Thunder sends his best. Throws him the gun. Korg's just so thrilled. He's like, shh, the revolution has begun. He's so excited. Then Thor and Loki have like a thing. They're hanging out on the elevator, and they're talking, and I love how Thor just says, I thought the world of you, Loki.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's all like, wait a second, then we're gonna need like a plan. He's like, oh god, don't do this again. And then he gets up, he's like, oh my god, my brother's hurt. And then the guys, and then he picks up Loki and just throws him at the other guys.
Let's do get help.
He's like, oh god, not that again.
So good.
And then he's all like, perfect. He just ragdolls him.
Yeah.
And, so then they pick up and he's all like, yo, Loki. And then Loki's up to his old tricks. He's about to betray Thor again. And then it turns out Thor actually got the better of Loki this time. Turns out he stuck the electrocuted thing on his back and electrocutes him. Love it.
Kind of brutal. He just sets it to its maximum.
Yeah, I know. It's just...
turns it on and fucking leaves it there. I'll just put this...
And leaves the...
throws it over one shoulder.
And he, like, puts it down and he, like, walks off. Go do what he's doing. He's like, look, Loki, it's kind of the thing now. You know, you tricked me, you stabbed me or whatever. He's like, you know, you could do so much better. And then he, like, walks off. And the Loki's just sitting there just like... I bet Thor was like, I'm sure he can take it. Which is another just great little joke. The god of mischief gets tricked.
Yeah. When will they ever be friends?
Well, I mean, we're about to get there. So, they end up staging their little revolution. I forget exactly what happens after the scene, because I don't want to get to the one where Korg finds them. I forget what happens after that.
I think we jump back to Asgard for a bit for another hilariously unnecessary Hela being Hela scene.
Oh, yeah, I think she's, like, executing people, and then Scourge is, like, there. And Scourge is kind of like, I don't like this.
Yeah. She's trying to find the rebels who are mentioned 3 times. Once when they're introduced, once when they're found, and once when they're killed. Which,
oh yeah, we also see what Heimdall's been up to. He looks way better, actually. He has long hair now, and he's like flinging the sword around, and oh yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, indeed. He does look pretty badass.
Oh yeah, he's looking pretty awesome. Idris Elba, man.
He's badass.
Dude's like the king of cool, man.
Yeah. I think many would disagree with that.
So then I think after that little scene, we get to another just perfect Korg moment. Korg and the other thugs just walk over. I love how he's just like, there he is. Take it out of here. And he looks down. And he's like, oh, what's this? Picks it up. And he like presses a button, and Loki's like, oh. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And he's all like, hey man, I'm Pogue. These are my mates. We're gonna go on that ship. You wanna come? And he's all like, well, you do seem like you're in some desperate need of leadership. I love how Korg said it. He's so touched. He's like, why thank you.
Why thank you.
Oh man.
I really wish we could have seen more of Loki and Korg interacting. Because just for that is untapped gold mine. Loki playing like the eternal straight man, trying his hardest, putting all of his will and his millennia of knowledge all together, trying as hard as he can to insult Korg, and Korg just not getting it. Korg be like, you fucking idiot! Oh, thanks, yeah, that's great. Like, no, I'm trying to insult you. Are you? Why would you do that? You're my friend. But shit, I love you too, man. Frustration would be so brilliant to see.
I know. There's a lot of untapped gold mines in the MCU, like Doctor Strange and Iron Man. I would have loved to see more of them together.
Beard bros.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I guess that's what the multiverse is for.
But
a different version of either.
Oh man, I don't know why, but that scene just tickles me, you know.
It's fucking Korg.
It's Korg, yeah. I just love how he's so touched. He's like, oh, well, thank you.
So funny.
I love how Loki just right back to he's trying to take over, and Korg just doesn't get it. He's just like, oh, well, thank you.
Never rest. Always got a scheme on.
So, Thor and Bruce Banner and Valkyrie end up escaping through a wormhole and they end up getting back to Asgard. Yay.
While they have that kind of desperate attempts to fly away with all the ships chasing them, like it just feels to me that they're really trying to push sort of Valkyrie and Thor as a couple, and it just doesn't work.
Again, I think they're better as like a comedic duo.
At flirting, and they all just fall so flat.
I think they're better as like a comedic duo, you know, like bros.
100%. I agree. I'm pretty sure, given the way things are going in Love and Thunder, I'm like 95% sure that they won't be doing that. If anything, I'm thinking Valkyrie and Jane will be the big ship, and Thor will just be off on his own, fighting.
Making out with Sif.
Possible, she's back, so it's entirely possible.
Hey, come on, make out with Sif. She wants some of that God of Thunder, you know? If you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. Now that her terrible TV show is finished, she's free for
a
movie again.
Hey, she did get a good. She had some good screen time in Loki. I'm never forgetting that one. Keeps kicking Loki in the nuts and like punching him. Good times.
Yeah, but that was endlessly satisfying to film.
Oh
for
god.
her anyway, not so much for him.
So they end up escaping to Asgard, and another just great little gag where Banner, it's like this big intense scene, he's all like, don't worry, I got this. Falls over, just falls flat on the Bifrost. It's so simple, and it shouldn't be funny, but it is. And I love it.
It really is, yeah. It's like the ultimate pratfall.
Ultimate superhero landing, and it's just like, plunk.
So, by the way, missed opportunity that Deadpool should have made an appearance where he's like, superhero landing failed.
That would have been kind of weird, though. Been like, wait, where did Deadpool come from? Anyway. That would be a good little gag for, like, a video on Thor Ragnarok. He goes, like, superhero landing. Yeah. Anyway. So, Thor decides to go in, and he's like, I'm going to face Hela, and it's going to be a time. It's going to be fun. So, yeah, I hope you figure everything out. And, yep. it kind of goes sour from there. And I love how she just, I think it's Hela who finds him, and he's just sitting on the throne like a boss. Like, yes.
Leads to quite possibly the most disappointing fight in the whole film. Like, there's a lot of really great fights in this film. There's like some fucking iconic scenes, one of which we're about to get to, we will discuss at great length because it's fucking amazing.
Oh, yes.
And then you have a scene which should have been so, like, legendarily great. You got Hela with her totally not all black sword. You've got Thor on the throne with fucking Gungnir, spear of the All-Father. And it's like it's not quite as bad as him versus Loki in the first film, but it's like, where was the fight, man? Like, do something, choreograph something, for Christ's sake. Like, they just sort of flailing each other for a bit, and then the fight's over. It's like, come on, you had such a great opportunity there to deliver a really killer fight scene, and it just never quite materializes.
I agree. I would say it's the most it's easily the most underwhelming fight out of all of them. If you compare it to the other fights, and the other one we'll get into very soon. Yeah, this one I barely remember, because it's like, it's just like, okay, they fight for a bit and that's it. Just ends very quickly.
Hela kind of kicks his ass all over the playing field, and yeah, she, like, burns his eye out. And you're like, oh. Well, like father, like son. I guess it's like the Skywalker family tradition, except it's with eyes. So they're busy with that. Heimdall's there as well, and they start having just an epic battle. And Scourge is just like, fuck this, and ends up leaving. And he's like, gets a cloak and just dips.
Or does he?
Well, hold on. Don't get ahead of ourselves.
Sorry.
So, things are looking pretty bad. Everyone's getting overwhelmed. Thor's getting his ass handed to him. And, right as Heimdall's about to get, like, smacked, he gets, the little zombie gets splashed away. And guess who it is? But our boy, our Lord and Savior, Korg. And he's like, hey, man. He's like, I'm cool. This is me. We got a ship over here. Want to come? He's like, okay. He's like, not the weirdest thing I've seen today.
And then, fucking getting his full savior moment, Loki just emerges out of the mist with some slightly ropey CGI, standing on the prow of the ship. Like, your savior has arrived.
Everyone's just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, ugh. Shut up, Loki.
Just to pop his head so he doesn't get quite too full of its own nonsense. Heimdall's like, yeah, I saw you coming. And he's like, yeah, sure you did.
I love how Loki's, like, ego gets played for laughs in this a lot. It's a nice change of pace.
You can see that by this film, they very much understood that a solid portion of the audience are there just to see Loki. So they toned down the sort of melodrama a bit and made it a lot more relatable, a lot funnier.
Yeah.
And it does work, so I can't be that mad.
But things aren't looking that great nonetheless. They're trying to evacuate people. Korg's, putting his all into it, but I think it's later when we get the glorious scene where he's like, ah! And then we get... well, hold on. We're almost there. So... Almost. You can tell I'm itching to talk about it. So, Hela is kicking Thor's ass. It is looking bad. She's like, she claws out his eye, and he's like, oh fuck, I'm fucked. And then he has a vision where he talks with Anthony Hopkins, and he's all like, oh Father, I put up the good fight. I don't know if I can be like you. And he just gives like the best advice where he's like, well, maybe don't be like me then. He's all like, well, I'm nothing without the hammer. He's all like, bro, you ain't nothing. It's like, bro, it wasn't about the hammer. You're the god of thunder. Now be a god of thunder.
Great scene.
And then we get just the greatest just mic drop of all time. We get just the greatest, shit, what did I do scene. up there. It's like Spider-Man 1's Green Goblin pissing Spider-Man off tier of just, shit, what have I done? Where she's like, oh, what are you the god of again? And then that just pisses Thor off, and he gets the fucking lightning, and it's roaring through his veins. And Jacob, Taheg, do you want to take it from here? I gotta rev myself up for it.
Okay, so while Britton revs himself up, we won't exactly ask how. So yeah, Hela has Thor pinned to the freaking balcony. What are you the god of again? He answers by shocking her in the face with the biggest lightning bolt anyone in the world has ever conjured. Cuts back to the Revengers, who are holding the line but sort of getting their asses kicked, and it's all looking a bit grim. And then in the distance you just see this massive fucking lightning explosion.
Oh man, I got goosebumps, bro. Just thinking about it.
And that's the exact point. It's like +1 to morale for all the troops. You know, battle meditation has been activated. Everyone's like, oh shit, we know what that means. You see Hela fucking flying off into the ocean, like, bye. Team Rocket launching off again. And then the music starts.
Oh,
the song. That fucking opening lick.
Oh my god. And also, I love Loki's little grin too. He's just like, oh yeah.
I've been on the wrong side of this enough times to appreciate it from the right side now. And he just fucking drops down from the sky, eye ablaze, crackling with thunder. Holy shit. One of the best superhero entrances.
Oh my god. It's so good. Jacob, what do you think?
About 5 minutes of what can only be described as visual crack. Superhero freaking ecstasy. Just perfect.
Oh yes. Jacob, you gotta put in some. What do you think of this?
Please. Oh yes. Okay. Hands down, one of the best action scenes ever in superhero history.
Oh my god, yes.
It's fucking awesome. First off, visual splendor. It is fucking magnificent.
Oh my god, the colors just
playing
pop.
in the background, and it's just it's so good.
And the music, oh my god. Immigrant Song, oh.
So freaking good.
I almost wish they hadn't used it in that opening scene, just so this was the first time we hear it. But that's like 0.1% of an issue with an otherwise absolutely fantastic scene.
Oh, such a bang! This is like top 5 greatest MCU battle scenes of all time. I am not even being hyperbolic. You see fucking Thor just comes down, he's just electrocuting everybody, and then Loki's just using his little knives, he's just slicing everybody up, and then there's Valkyrie just walking in like a badass, no worries in the world, there's fireworks going off. Ugh! It's perfect.
It's so easily could have been over the top. Like, why were there fireworks?
Who fucking cares? It's awesome!
But somehow it's just... The whole scene is so stupid but amazing that it just fucking works. And like, it kind of feels like this is the first time we've really seen Thor as the god of thunder. Like, he's used his thunder blasts before, but usually it's just like a zap out of Mjolnir or a bolt from the sky. Now he's crafting that shit. It's like it's arcing off him and zapping people. Yeah, he smacks one guy and then it shoots out and nukes like 5 other people. It's like, oh shit, like this dude controls the storm. He is the storm.
I'm gonna rewatch the battle scene after this.
So good.
I'm gonna rewatch it after this is over.
Me too.
and then Banner turned into Hulk in the meanwhile is fighting off Fenris, who's her dog, her giant wolf, and that's freaking awesome too. He's in the water. He's like punching out the wolf. And the Thor's just coming in, he's just electrocuting everybody. Oh, it's so good. I love it.
Absolute A-star scene.
Oh my god. By the way, also on the meanwhile, Scourge is trying to like get away, and he just like sees everyone just fighting, and then he's like, you know what? All right, I guess I'm gonna do this, and then he does right out of the comics. Gets he gets Dez and Troy, gets out and just starts firing on everybody, and it's freaking awesome. Oh yeah, we also see Korg. Oh yeah, we also see Korg shooting his little laser. He's like, ah! It's so freaking good. It is just the perfect amount. It's the perfect amount of just over the top. Just mwah. It's like A Knight's Tale on methamphetamine.
Oh man, fucking love that film.
Oh, it's so good. I love this. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such an epic. It's freaking epic, man. That's the best part about this. It's just epic.
And it's unapologetically epic. It doesn't try to like quantify any of what's going on. It doesn't try to explain it. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. This is what happens when you get like 5 Asgardians and a bunch of aliens and just let them all cut loose.
Yeah, it's like, this is the win we needed in this movie, because the whole movie, Thor's just been getting shat on, and then finally just gets to fucking unleash, and it's glorious.
Yep. And then gets fucked up by Hela, because Asgard.
Oh, man. Jacob, what do you think? Is this not the best shit ever?
It is. I agree. Easily top 5. Top 5. Easily. This is what we needed. This is what I needed. Creativity. Personality. We didn't get that in Thor movies. And finally, no Dutch angles. No blonde eyes. Nothing like that.
No blonde eyebrows either, in case you were curious.
Thank God. But yeah, this final battle, easily one of the best battles ever in superhero history.
Oh, it's up there with the Infinity War battle. Like, that's how good it is.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And in-game. It's like in-game, it's like Infinity War in-game tier in just a Thor movie. Like, that's how great it is.
Fucking epic.
It's up there with No Way Home, too. We've had a lot of great battle scenes these last couple of years.
We really have, yeah.
There's also the Shang-Chi final fight, which is really good, too.
Oh, yeah. Fucking Kamehameha. Completely insane, but it somehow works.
Oh, man. But the Battle of Asgard is just one of the best freaking things of all time.
Yep.
We finally get to see Thor just fucking let it out. He is pissed off, and he's just wants to destroy things.
Yeah.
He's been putting up with He's been put up with too much bullshit.
Yep.
It's glorious.
It is. But there's like a weird note of kind of desperation to the whole thing, because like they're absolutely ruining all these little soldiers. But in the back of their minds, they're all thinking, "But what the fuck are we gonna do about Hela?" Like they destroy all the soldiers, everyone gets on the ship, and like, yeah, great, we've got everyone away, and they turn around, and Hela's just walking down the little bridge, like, "Yup, you hit me with your best shot, and it did literally nothing. What are you gonna do now?"
Oh, and by the way, Scourge does sacrifice himself. He gives his life so that he can save the rest of the Asgardians. And a couple of alien gladiators in the process.
Like a boss.
Yep, Karl Urban,
Doesn't
R.I.P.
quite have the impact of his comic book standard parts, but it's a solid nod to a fairly epic moment in comic history, so we'll allow it.
Indeed.
And it's from Karl Urban, so that makes it better.
Yep. Though, he's all like, and then I think like Hela just shows up and like, ah, shit, what are we gonna do? And then Loki's like, well, there's only one who can stop her. He's like, but I didn't want to have Ragnarok. He's like, well, sorry, can't. It's not all. It's like, I'm sorry, we can't all get what we want. He's like, yeah, fine, go get it, Loki. It's like, why do you want me to do it? It's like, well, you're sneakier than I am.
No one else can friggin' stand up to Hela to keep her at bay while you blow the whole place up.
So, yeah, Loki goes over, and he retrieves Surtur's crown, and he ends up placing it in the Eternal Flame. and then Surtur just comes out and just destroys Asgard. Or well, he almost does it first. He just destroys Hela, and then they get on the spaceship and they get away, and Thor ends up getting the eye patch. We get battle-hardened Thor, one of my favorite Thor looks of all time.
Fun sort of little note about the whole destruction of Asgard sequence. A couple of times throughout the film, they've pulled the whole, like Thor kind of does something that requires timing, fucks it up, because, it's funny. The one time you get to absolutely spot on, Hela's walking up like, oh, what are you going to do? You know you can't defeat me. And he's like, no, I can't. But he can.
Yeah, that's great.
That bursts out, like, fuck yeah, it's wrecking time. It's Morbin time.
Oh, God. It's
like,
Morbin time.
There's been a joke the whole way through that Thor's timing is always just a bit off. And now when it really matters, that, yup, I'm finally at one with myself. I could finally have the balance to get the timing on these jokes right. And it all syncs up perfectly. So freaking good.
And she's like, no! And she gets, like, destroyed. She gets, like, crushed by Clancy Brown.
Fuck yeah.
And they all end up escaping, and Thor gets, like, an eye patch. He's like, this feels weird. And then Loki's like, I bet you're fine. I think he also throws, like, another thing at Loki to make sure he's not fake.
He does, yeah. Because like, he's sitting in his room, kind of moping a bit. Loki walks in, he's kind of trying to be consoling. And he's like, yeah, I'd hug you if you were here, and throws him a glass. Or throws a glass at him. And he just catches it. He's like, but I am here. Bro moment.
No. Like, oh, okay. And then they have like a really nice scene where they make up.
But it's one of those moments where it's like, yeah, it's really, cute and happy in context, but then you remember what's going to happen in universe like 10 minutes later, and it's like, oh, now I'm sad.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been better if he had just left.
But they end up reconciling. They end up sitting down. He's like, well, seems like I'm the leader now. And he's like, well, where did you come from, Korg? And Meek? Where did Meek come from? And then Korg's all like, Meek's dead.
Oh, man.
Oh, sorry, Jacob. You can say it.
Yes, because I fucking love this. I love this ending. I don't care what anybody says. I love it. It's classic Korg. So as Brooke was saying, Thor asked Meek, where are you from? And then Korg, being Korg, he's like, oh, Meek's dead. I accidentally stomped on him on the bridge. I just feel so guilty. I've been carrying him around all day. And then Meek is apparently not dead. He wakes up, and then Korg is like, oh, look, you're alive. He's alive, guys. What was your question again, bro?
And then we see this is I'm sure this is the scene that Taheg was talking about, but they then are sitting in front of Asgard and they're all like, and then Korg just gives like a waxing poetic. He's all like, we can rebuild again, and it just blows up, and everyone's like, ooh, I spoke too soon. And that's one of the scenes where I'm like, okay.
Yep. Here's my thing. Visually, that scene is fantastic. It's come just after this really loud, brash, explosive fight scene. It would have had so much more impact if you were just staring at this room, like this whole bridge of this ship completely full of the remains of Asgard. Everyone in just dead silence as you see the sword plunge down, the big wave burst out, and the planet explode. Like, there was no need for any dialogue in that scene at all. And then to have, like, him just ranting on about the fucking foundations. Like, we've just come to terms with the fact that Asgard is not a place, it's the people. We know the people have survived. It's a touching scene where you're saying goodbye to what was essentially your home, but knowing that it doesn't really matter because your home is your people, not, the ground beneath your feet. So it's like, it's a sad moment, but also kind of a hopeful moment because you're looking forward to the future. And he's rambling on about the foundation. Like, mate, if you weren't made of rock, I would slap you. Shut the fuck up. Not the time. Read the goddamn room.
I kind of think I'm a little more lenient. I feel like it works because Korg is that kind of guy who like he just talks at the wrong times, you know. But I can see where you're coming from.
Good.
And then did you say good?
Yep.
And then it just like blows up, and he's all like, "Ah, shit. All right, well, I guess that's that." I'm like, okay, that was kind of that is kind of cheap, but whatever. We won't get into that. But then I guess Thor, battle-hardened Thor, is now king of Asgard. I wouldn't say he's the All-Father just yet. But he does manage to get his people. He's like, I've heard there's a very nice place on Earth we can go to, and then that's the end of the movie. But wait, not quite. In the mid-credit scene, they're flying around and they end up getting intercepted by a large spacecraft. Oh no!
Yeah.
I wonder who it belongs to.
It's got this. Loki's like, I don't know. I get the feeling everything's going to be all right. Famous last words as you see this massive fucking ship hover into view. Yeah, it's not going to be all right. Nothing's going to be all right. Especially not for you.
I thought the famous last words were, I give my undying loyalty, and then Thanos just chokes him to death in fucking little effort.
Yeah, that's a fucking brutal scene.
Anyways, so in the post-credit scene, which I guess I either forgot or I didn't catch, but the Grand Master ends up just like he's basically like a slave now, and he's trying to placate the people.
Yeah.
Heard he'll be in Love and Thunder.
Really?
He might be. I don't know.
Yeah, stranger things have happened.
But
I suppose a point could be made that he's close enough to a godlike figure that Gore might want to kill him.
Oh, okay. Oh, Melissa McCarthy's going to be the actress playing Hela. That'll be something in Love and Thunder.
Oh my God. Not looking forward to seeing her in the outfit.
Oh my God.
Kind of looking forward to seeing her in the scene. She's going to be fucking hilarious.
But that is Thor Ragnarok, the beginning of the Waititi era of Thor films. Oh boy.
Our Lord and Savior.
Man, this film was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Though now I kind of want to talk about Love and Thunder a little bit. And also,
yes.
I want to talk about, just for a little bit, just some stuff that happened that I just want to talk, I'm kind of itching to talk about real quick.
Okay.
Alright.
I bet Ty might guess what I want to talk about, but bro, that last Obi-Wan episode, wasn't that the best shit ever?
Oh my fucking God, so good.
What?
Holy
Jacob,
fuck.
did you see the last episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Fuck yeah.
So good. Honestly, my favorite Star Wars anything since fucking Empire. So good.
Favorite flight.
So good.
Oh my God, it's so good.
God, what a fucking awesome way to end the series.
And try and have anyone say that Obi-Wan isn't the fucking strongest canon Jedi at this point.
For real.
Who could go toe-to-toe with that bad motherfucker?
Either Obi-Wan or someone just as strong as Vader. I mean, it's so good. I love that last episode. It was so good. So suspenseful too. Oh my God.
Oh God, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fucking. I mean, to be fair, Obi-Wan does get underestimated a lot because he's he's the master of trolling, and no one really thinks much of it. He apparently has lower force sensitivity than say Vader does. But man, he will strike you if you don't let him go. Now, I would have said, I could say that I would have preferred a draw to that fight because Vader is more powerful at that point. But you know what? I'm not going to get into semantics. That was a freaking badass fight.
It really was, yeah.
What the fuck was that? What the hell was that?
Sorry, I got coughing fit.
Anyway.
I moved the mic out of the way so I could cough, and then forgot that the mic makes more noise than the cough would have.
Yeah, but that Obi-Wan episode was just so good.
Yeah.
Seriously, the best Star Wars shit I've seen since Empire Strikes Back. I'm not even exaggerating.
Like, episode 3 and episode 6 are probably my favorite episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, by far.
Which one was 3?
That's the one where Vader's just kicking Obi-Wan's ass throughout the field.
Oh, yeah. That was a fucking savage episode. Yeah.
Vader's just terrifying as all get out.
Yeah. And just seeing him absolutely clown on Reva. I think that was the end of episode 5.
That was episode 5. Oh my god, it was so good too. Oh,
So good.
bro. Wasn't that awesome?
Yeah, like, just destroys that ship without even trying. And then she tries to sneak up on him, and he's like, mate, come on. What are you doing?
I'm Darth Vader, bitch. He
Yeah,
just
so
ragdolls
good.
her.
And a great line from Obi-Wan, and perfect illustration of his mastery of sass. Yeah, he's kneeling down there looking all kind of defeated and broken. Vader's on his way, and he's talking to Reva. And he's like, you're not bringing me to him. I'm bringing him to you. Classic.
Boss as fuck.
So good. Fucking love that show.
Stout as fuck.
I also love, finally, they're fucking making Darth Vader a fucking savage.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't say finally, but yes, they are. They are definitely making him a savage.
Like the 10-second wrath of Darth Vader in Rogue One, and now in Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yeah, finally, a savage Darth Vader. This is what I wanted to see from Darth Vader for like years.
Also, Rebels, he's just kicking everybody's ass in that show.
He was such an extra little bitch in that show. It was brilliant. when he's like floating down for absolutely no reason, apropos of fucking nothing. Instead of flying his TIE Interceptor down onto the planet to confront the rebels, he stands on the
He stands on it, yeah,
crossed,
like a boss.
moving his fucking cloak with the Force because there's no wind. They're in fucking space. It's like, yup, that's how you make an entrance, bitch.
So, oh, I love it. I also love when he's just kicking their. I love how they drop the or as I like to call it, the robot camel on him. I used to think it was a camel back in the day when I was like a kid, when I was little. It was like, it's a camel. My mom's like, not really, but okay. But no, and then he just, no effort whatsoever, he just lifts it with his hand, and then Ezra's all like, if that won't kill him, it will. Not us. Run!
Yep.
I'm like, that takes
That's
a...
like you to get the fuck out.
I'm like, well, you didn't get that already when he almost fucking killed you with your own lightsaber? With the Force? Ugh. Oh, Vader is
So
a
good.
savage in this new Disney canon.
Yeah. He's brutal in the comics as well.
Oh my god, bro. He's... Oh. Yo, he stabs himself well, that's in the Legends continuity. Never mind.
Who gives a shit?
He
It's
stabbed...
still readable. I enjoy it.
He stabbed himself with the lightsaber to kill Robot Maul. Ugh. Good stuff.
But now we have to ask the big question. Kenobi Season 1 has wrapped. It was fantastic. Absolutely killer finale. Do you want a second season?
Oh man, I don't know. I kind of do. I actually wish Obi-Wan Kenobi was longer, in all honesty. I don't know what it
that would've
is
been good too.
with Disney's hard-on for 6 episodes. What do you think, guys? Jacob? What is up with this?
Man. Oh, the 6th episode?
Yeah, what's up with the 6-episode thing?
Well, to be fair, most of the episodes are an hour long, so...
Well, that's true. But, I think there were some things that could have been fleshed out a little more. I think it wouldn't have hurt if there were, 9 episodes, personally. But that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me. You could say I'm gay or whatever, but that's just me. Just saying. I think it would have benefited for some more episodes. But hey, what we
Absolutely.
got, I am not complaining at all.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm a little afraid if they do make a season 2, because I don't know if this is like a limited series or if it's like I don't know. But if they do make a season 2, then I'll kind of be scared because I'm satisfied with how it ended.
Yeah, it's like I want a second season, but I don't really think there should be one.
I love Ewan McGregor as the character, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, not that it's like, I don't know. I don't want too much of a good thing, you know?
Just watch that, and then watch him and Maul's final duel in Rebels, and it just all ties together perfectly.
Yes.
Though you could say the second season was A New Hope, where Obi-Wan gets out of retirement to save Princess Leia once again.
True. I have seen that joke floating around. A lot of people, like, the guy was, here's my pitch for Kenobi season 2, and it was just the synopsis of A New Hope. It was quite funny.
So, Love and Thunder is going to come out soon, which is what we did this whole series to prepare for. I think we're a bit early, though.
A little bit, yeah.
So I don't know how we're going to operate around that, but I'm sure we'll find time.
Just pre-ordered my tickets, so I'm ready.
I haven't, but only because the cinema near me is so shit that no one ever goes there, so I never have problem booking tickets. Like, I've scored day one tickets for, like, Spider-Man, Batman, a bunch of other films, just, like, booking about a week in advance.
Bro, you're like you're the Thor expert, man. That's what the whole reason we got you on here.
I know. Trust me, I'll be there. Fucking day one, it's all good.
Okay. I did get a new copy of you can't really see it, but it's Thor from Jason Aaron, which Love and Thunder is going to be inspired by. So, or at least it's basically kind of a hodgepodge of his run, basically, with, Taika Waititi's stuff. And I really want to read it again because I really enjoy the God Butcher arc. Just such sexy artwork.
Yeah, Assad freaking Rubich, man.
Oh my
what
god.
a legend.
Just great stuff, Just, I'm holding it right now, so there you go.
Here's my thing. Like, I am quite worried for this film because I fucking love that arc, and I'm just not sure they can really do it justice in, like, I think it's like 1 hour 50 or something.
Oh yeah,
but here's the thing.
It's like the shortest MCU film since 2008 or something.
Yeah. I was on Reddit this morning because I needed to kill some brain cells.
You're on Reddit. Come on.
I saw a Marvel post and kind of just clicked on it. Turns out I thought it was kind of a fan's idea of what might happen in this film. Turns out it was actually a leaked synopsis of the movie.
Oh my god.
I didn't read all of it, but I kind of just read like the first paragraph.
Come on, man.
If that is the tone they can maintain, my fears for this film have dramatically decreased.
Oh.
Like, just based on a tiny glimpse I saw before I realised that this was actually legit and not just someone spitballing ideas, they might actually be onto something pretty fucking spectacular with this film.
I've heard the early reviews are very positive, so I'm holding out hope.
Yeah.
I've been kind of burnt on this MCU recently after I watched about 4 episodes of Moon Knight, and I'm like, I'm going to take a break for a little bit, but I really want to see Love and Thunder, and then after that I'm going to go back to my hibernation.
Yeah. I would strongly suggest watching Miss Marvel.
I know, you want me to see Miss Marvel. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
I want everyone to see Miss Marvel.
I have heard it is really good.
And I need people to watch it because apparently it's got the lowest viewing figures of any MCU film, TV series so far.
Oh, that sucks.
I solely base that on Moon Knight being such a fucking disappointment.
I wouldn't say it was I wouldn't say it's a disappointment.
Huh?
I wouldn't say it's a disappointment. I think it could have. I just think it could have. It was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
But I do
finished it.
I do definitely plan on rereading the God Butcher arc for this movie, and also I kind of want to read the rest of this Thor run, so I might get the complete collections and read that whole thing up. I also got the
companion. You can find a good reading guide if you need one.
Also, I got Sweet Tooth, the Compendium, baby, which is one of the best comics of all time, in my opinion. Not even just my opinion, it's just a straight fact, my friends. Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, it's a very well-regarded comic.
Fucking read that shit. Pardon the French. Not really.
I saw the first season on Netflix.
I've heard good things. I'm kind of wary, though, because Sweet Tooth is such a particular tone, you know? Gotta tap that vein, you know?
I'd be interested, if you do watch it, I'd be interested to hear what you think. 'Cause I haven't read the comic, but I saw the show and really enjoyed it. And I'd be interested to see how kind of accurate it is to the books.
And don't get me wrong, this is a thick boy, 2 C's. No, 2 C's. You know, you can feel it. You can hear that, right?
I can.
That slap thing.
That slap, yes, I know. I think this volume 1 of Thor, though, that I got here, I think this is all the stuff I have read so far. So, I am definitely planning on reading it again, because I really enjoy the God Butcher arc. Really, really like it. You want some good over-the-top Thor epicness? Read this.
That is the run to watch, to read, whatever.
But, so, yes. I am definitely looking forward to Thor Love and Thunder, and then after that I'm going to be going back on my sabbatical from the MCU for a while. I might watch. I do plan on watching Miss Marvel, but I might wait for it to finish up and then I'll watch it. I don't know yet.
That's fair. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like halfway done anyway. So.
But I've heard it's really good. It's like, hey, what if Edgar Wright actually did get a chance to take a crack at the MCU? Bam. And I'm
very
like,
much so,
ooh,
yeah.
That actually sounds really good. I want to see that now. Damn it, Marvel! You know, it's like that.
Damn it. Now I'm frustrated because I still want... They should have had Edgar Wright direct Ant-Man.
I know.
Oh, that would have been so fucking good.
Oh my god. I mean, the movie we got was fun, but Yellow Jacket was so fucking lame.
Yeah.
I hated that. Worst villain in the MCU. I'm sorry. My least favorite, anyway. He's fine. He's my least favorite. I hated Yellow Jacket. Ugh. I'll save that for the Ant-Man review.
I'd say Ghost is worse, but yeah, he's pretty bad.
There's one thing. I'm excited for Love and Thunder, but I feel like I'm the only one who's excited for Thor's workout montage.
Get to see him become a space hippie Thor?
Yes, going from hobo Thor to space hippie Thor.
Ravager Thor.
Give me a montage like Mr. Incredible's workout montage.
Oh my god, that would be good. That would be really fun. It seems like we're gonna get that though, so hey, we'll see.
Though I am like really nervous on how they're gonna handle Gore the God Butcher. I do not want them to fuck him up.
I mean, I have heard that the initial reviews are fairly positive, and the praise for Gore is extreme.
Oh wow, must be really
like,
good.
People are calling him the best villain the MCU has had so far.
Oh wow, I'll believe it when I see it, critics.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they're saying it a lot, but are they saying it because that's actually true, or are they saying that because they're at the press? It's their job to hype up the film.
I gotta say though, he kind of looks like a constipated. He might look like a constipated zombie, but you know. I'm just not a huge fan of the... I mean, the Assad Ribic, if I were Assad Ribic, I would be kind of triggered by the depiction. Because, like, Gore looks freaking awesome, man. Like, hold on.
One of the best designs.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
But then you got this design. He looks like the nun demon. Like...
He looks like Vlad... He looks like... Yeah, exactly. He looks like a constipated Vladik from Can't fucking say it now. Jeez. There, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's sexy.
We can't see what you're pointing at, dude.
Oh, wait. No, I'm showing the audience. See?
They can't either.
I know the audience can see, but...
Oh, okay.
But look, it's that's a way better design. Why couldn't they just CG him? Look, I showed Taheg this the other day, and I don't know. But aside from that, I've heard like good things, and Christian Bale is a good actor, and he's usually very careful with what scripts he picks. Or he's usually pretty good with the scripts he tends to pick. So,
except that Terminator film.
Yeah, that Terminator film was pretty bad. We don't talk about that here.
No.
Though, there was that fun time where he got mad at some, like, grip guy for getting in his eye line.
Yeah.
If you think I'm ever going to let that go, Christian Bale, you are sorely mistaken. Though, I still really enjoy Christian Bale. He seems to take his craft very seriously. And he tends to be very good with picking scripts, for the most part. Except for the occasional bad movie.
True. Which makes me think, like, if he's signed... I'm assuming he read the script before he signed on for the film. So, like, there must be some meat to the role. He's not going to take the part if it's just... Oh, I'm cool. I'm such a funny psychopath. Like, that's not his style. There's got to be a bit of darkness to the role if he's going to take it, which makes me happy.
I really like in the trailer how it's in black and white, and he's all like, "You're not like other gods I've slain," and then Thor just gives the little fingers like, "Come on, like let's scrap." But you know,
I haven't seen the trailer, so I wouldn't know. But
I wouldn't know.
I do love the aesthetics they're doing with gore. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Black and white. It looks pretty awesome.
But yeah, I mean, God Butcher Arc. I'm not the hugest of Thor fans, but Taika harassed me, and I ended up reading the God Butcher Arc, and that shit fucking smacks. So
I told you.
I hope they don't. I hope they don't screw it up.
I can't remember. Did you read? Did you get all the way to King Thor, or did you just read?
No, I have not gotten that far yet. I just got to when Malekith is starting to cause problems.
King Thor is just such an epic run. So good.
I know. I want to read that. It looks freaking on. Esad Ribic came back. Oh.
He did.
All right. I will continue reading the Thor run if you do agree to read Sweet Tooth, because that shit slaps.
Yeah, how long is Sweet Tooth?
Wait, what?
How long is Sweet Tooth?
Oh, it's only about like 40 issues. It's not even that long, so.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like 6 volumes.
Knocked out in a couple of days.
So, yeah, like, I'm actually selling some of my old comics since I got these new, like, compendiums now. So, yeah, I'm gonna be doing that soon.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. I hope to get some money out of it. God. Alright. But yeah, Love and Thunder looks like a lot of fun. Let's see what happens. I'm wondering if Thor is going to get in a gangbang with Jane and Valkyrie, but we'll see. We'll see.
And Sif.
I would say that I wouldn't say I hope for it because Natalie Portman kind of looks like my oldest cousin who lives across the street from me. So that's kind of weird.
Old?
She's 17. So younger than me. But so it would feel weird if I thirsted over a Natalie Portman. But hey, I guess we'll see because Taika Waititi's shown to be kind of freaky, and he's kind of a like hippie kind of guy. So yeah, there's that.
That respects though.
Yeah, all the best directors are a bit dodgy. It's how they create their art.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a freak though. You feel me? Wink, wink.
Hey, respect. I respect that.
Oh God. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for that Beta Ray Bill to come into the MCU. I'm holding up for that. Better be in the post credits.
Fingers crossed.
Just a finger crossed.
There are two post credits. So I'm guessing there'll be one setting up the next film, and then one teasing Bill, assuming Bill is not the next film.
Just give me some of that action.
What if they fake us out and actually Bill isn't in this film, but he is in Guardians 3?
Oh, I'd be so mad. but I would love if he were in Guardians 3,
Yeah,
though.
Thor's in Guardians 3.
Oh, Thor's in Guardians 3?
Isn't he?
I don't know.
They're in this.
I know they're in this.
I thought the initial plan was... I think Guardians was meant to come out before Love and Thunder. And I know he was meant to be in that then. But I think now, with it all changing around, he might not be. I suppose we'll have to see where he is at the end of Love and Thunder. But I thought the plan was for him to be in Guardians Volume 3.
I don't know. It doesn't say on the Wikipedia page, but then again.
I'll have to ask James Gunn.
What?
We'll have to ask James Gunn.
Oh, I thought you said I love James Gunn. I'm like, well, thank you. I'm not James Gunn. But, I don't know why I say that. Ugh, anyway. Yeah, I guess we would have to ask James. But would he be honest with us if I said, hey, yo, gonna have that Beta Ray Thor, gonna have a Beta Ray Bill in Guardians 3? He's gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Who's Beta Ray Bill? And he like skitters into his...
I think he would be more inclined to confirm or deny Thor being in Guardians.
I bet he'd be like, yeah, I'm sure Thor.
Thor is in Guardians. Then I would say there's a good chance Bill will be as well. If not, then no.
But man, I really want, because let me tell you, Beta Ray Bill is like my favorite Thor character. He just has an odd design, and he's also like gone toe to toe with Thor, man.
Yeah, and banged Sif.
Yeah, he banged Sif. He banged Loki. He banged the Allfather. Like he's just you know he's a boss, man.
For real.
Okay, maybe he didn't bang Loki and Odin, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past Loki, to be honest. He did take Sif's body for a while, so you know.
Yeah, Sif is like Jamie Alexander's pretty fine. I'm not gonna lie.
She is.
Wait, is she in the Jason Aaron Thor run, Taheg?
Sif.
Sif.
She's yeah. I mean, she's. I mean, his run goes on for fucking ages, so she does show up, yeah. But I wouldn't really say she's one of the major characters.
Oof! Check those muscles, dog. Anyways, so we are kind of in a weird spot now because Love and Thunder, we kind of miscalculated there. It's gonna be coming out in 2 weeks, so I don't know what you two want to do. Do you want to wait? I'd feel weird if we did a movie and then we did Love and Thunder, because that would just feel weird.
I'd rather just wait because of what you said.
Yeah. Love and Thunder. We're gonna have to wait a little bit. We're gonna have to skip a time for Love and Thunder, maybe.
little mini break. Till we get the Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I think our next episode's gonna be Love and Thunder. That would just feel weird if we didn't. You know, we kind of miscalculate a little bit, so we're gonna have to wait a little bit for.
Yeah, it'll be worth it though. Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Though, hey. It'll be a lot of fun once we get to Love and Thunder, because I can't wait to see what that movie's going to be about. I want to see that epic Thor awesomeness. You feel me?
Hell yeah. In the workout montage.
And, yeah, we know you want the workout montage.
Workout montage, yes.
Yes, I want it.
That also reminds me, I was going to reread Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight run since, you know, the show came out, but, yeah, that didn't really work out, so, yeah. Sorry, guys.
Dude, read the current run. It's fucking amazing.
I know. I've heard it's good. I wanna read it.
Jed McKay, dude. He's killing it.
You gotta check it out, then.
You do.
Oh. Might start rereading Thor, I might actually start rereading, Thor, the God Butcher run today, so since, you know, I'm thinking about it. So I guess we'll see about that. Yeah. So yeah, this was our Thor Ragnarok episode. I had a lot of fun talking about this. It's been fun doing the Thorathon in general, but this one was actually really good this time. So I'm really pleased.
Great.
So I guess we've agreed we're taking a 1 week hiatus until we're gonna take a
Probably be more than 1 week.
We're gonna take a hiatus, and then we're gonna do Love and Thunder.
Hell yeah.
All right, sounds like a plan. Oh God. All right. So yes, we talked about Thor Ragnarok. Taheg, Thor superfan. Great to hear from you, man. Thank you once again for coming on.
No problem, dude. It's great to be here. Always fun to talk Thor with some like-minded individuals, and I cannot wait to break new grounds and talk Love and Thunder with you when we return in an unspecified amount of time.
Probably a week, or probably 2 weeks from now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I am hoping that we have all seen Love and Thunder by then. Anyways, I've been Britton.
And I've been Jacob.
And we do it for the love of the movies.
Yes, we do.
Ty, do you have any last words? Just like outro or something? I don't know.
Not enough. I'm hoping that the film has fewer jokes because Ragnarok was amazing, but we all know the line I wanted removed.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.